subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Everyone's gaze back to the image. After Uzumaki Naruto visited Jiraiya's grave, all the exhaustion swept over him, and he almost didn't have the strength to walk back to Konoha. People in major movie theaters around the world felt distressed after watching this. Fortunately, because of his efforts, Kakashi, who was revived by Nagato, came to pick him up. Before Naruto was about to fall to the ground, Kakashi's back caught him in time. Kakashi-sensei. Seeing the resurrected Kakashi-sensei, Uzumaki Naruto in the image relaxed even more. Kakashi, just rest on my back like this. The teacher hasn't carried you on my back for a long time. In the video, when Uzumaki Naruto heard this, he seemed to be back to his 12-year-old self. He put his head on Kakashi's shoulder and let the weight of his body press on him. In a movie viewing area in a civilian town, you're still acting like a child. You're only 16 years old. Why can't you act like a spoiled child? Yes, who would have thought that this young man could save so many people? He is so young and promising. He had such a miserable life in the village when he was a child. If I would have become like that pain. But now, that child should finally be recognized by others, right? After several videos, civilians who had nothing to do with ninjas began to feel happy for Naruto. In the video, Kakashi is carrying Naruto, who is now 16 years old, feeling that he has become heavier. The memories are full of the interaction between Kakashi and Team 7. A 12-year-old child is like a naughty little fox. He makes noisy noises every day and cannot always complete the tasks well, but he always gives extraordinary people at the most critical moments. Sense of dependence. The 12-year-old Naruto, who happened to be in the stage of being remembered, felt ashamed and turned to complain to Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, don't always think about my scandals, think more about other things than, for example, I beat the BD Sasuke to the ground, or I completed a powerful mission and became Chunin, Genin, or something like that. Young man, I told you that defeating me will be your next life. Don't think too much about it now. Sasuke complained to Naruto with a teasing voice. What? BD Sasuke. But, Naruto can... Huh? What is it, Hinata? The previous question seems to say that Naruto-kun is the Genin of Konoha. So. Fourth Raikage had a twisted look on his face, trying not to smile. You guys in Konoha are really good at it, relying on a Genin to save you at critical moments. Ninjas from several other villages also joined in the conversation, and no one missed this good opportunity to complain about Konoha. I just don't know how they will react when they find out that the whole world was saved by 2 Genin. Looking at the video, it seems that we have almost reached Konohagakure, and we can vaguely hear a loud noise in the distance. Naruto stared blankly at the scene in front of him and was put down from his back by Kakashi. Finally home. I believe you can do it. Ouch, it's back. Uzumaki Naruto is back. Little Naruto looked at the image and asked in confusion, what's going on? The image is a shocking scene. Dozens of Konoha shinobi are maintaining order. Tens of thousands of Konoha residents came outside to cheer. The scene, which is like an unprecedented prosperous age, makes people watching the movie feel excited. Kakashi, everyone is here to take Naruto home. Take me home. Naruto, who was watching the movie, responded stupidly to Kakashi's words in the video. No one had ever said welcome home to him, and in this video, everyone in Konoha was indeed welcoming. He came home. Like everyone else, Naruto is full of longing for his future. He believes that he will have a better future. After all, Sasuke is still there, and so are his mother and brother. Everyone in Ninja Village is here. In the video, Kakashi and Iruka, as Naruto's teachers, recalled Naruto's childhood deeds. One day, I will become Hokage, recognized by everyone. Among the crowds that rushed forward one after another, in addition to the people in this battle to defend Konoha, there were also Naruto's companions, the same class who were sitting next to him watching the movie. Shinobu and the mentors. In this unprecedented scene, they were gradually changed by Naruto, and they seemed quieter before others recognized Naruto's existence. Hinata sheds tears. That's great, Naruto-kun. She, who has been secretly watching Naruto, knows Naruto's efforts and dedication best, and is also the most qualified person to bless Naruto at this moment. This kind-hearted little girl has been supporting the lonely boy who was ostracized by the whole village for 10 years. At this moment, she is really crying with joy because Naruto has been recognized by the whole village. That's great. Naruto-kun, that's really great. Slowly walked up to Naruto. Team 7 teammate Haruno Sakura cursed angrily. You mess up every time, you big idiot. However, just when Naruto was accustomed to being scolded, the girl Sakura rushed to him, hugged him tightly, let tears fall on his shoulders, and said in a choked voice, "Thanks. Guy Classly, you did it Naruto-kun. Guy-ho, this is youth. Asuma class Shikamaru. I didn't expect you to save the entire Konoha by yourself. You did it Naruto." Chai nodded frantically beside him. As one of the female classmates who used to hate Naruto, Ino looked at Naruto with a smile. "Oh no, I kind of like him Naruto." "Naruto?" Ino blushed. "What the hell am I going to say in the video? Damn it. However, he is indeed handsome. She feels so safe. I really didn't expect it to be Uzumaki Naruto." Yuri read class. "Yeah. Naruto, that boy is very capable. He is worthy of being my contemporary." Shino, "But the gap is quite huge." You pointed at the image and complained to Shino next to him. "You have to attack me now, Konohamaru. Arika-sensei, let's go over and welcome Naruto back." To everyone's surprise, Uzumaki, one of Naruto's most important relatives, watched Naruto from distance. "No need. It's enough for me to watch here." "Teacher Irika?" Naruto, who was watching the movie, tilted his head and looked at Irika. At this time, Irika, who was watching the video, was so moved by the video that he couldn't help but cry with snot and tears. Ebisu next to Irika recalled the time when he and other ninjas in Konoha joined forces to create the third Hokage. Uzumaki Naruto is a demon fox brat. How could such a person let him learn ninjutsu as a ninja? They even questioned third Hokage's decision-making. However, his views on Uzumaki Naruto changed again and again in subsequent incidents. Kakashi class actually defeated that demon Zabuza. I heard that Nine-Tails boy showed off his skills. That Nine-Tails has entered the duel in the Chunin exam. Is this a lie? How can you do this? Don't go berserk, Demon Fox. Candidates who had not yet experienced the third exam were stunned. If they have never seen the video, they will definitely be surprised, but after seeing so many videos, they seem to take it for granted. Shaoli, at that time in the video, we didn't know Naruto-kun's identity yet. Niji, well, the identity of the fourth Hokage's son. Before he finished speaking, the memory in the image turned out to be the scene of him being lifted up to the sky by Uzumaki Naruto. Fr. Tenten was extremely surprised. That Niji, Uzumaki Naruto in another future can actually defeat Niji in the Chunin exam. From Don't Go Berserk, Demon Fox, to the whole audience applauding Naruto. This is his power to change people's hearts. Through his own efforts, Uzumaki Naruto has gradually gained his companions, gained the whole village, and will also gain recognition from the whole world in the future. Ebisu, now that things have happened, I've become one of the people who recognize Uzumaki Naruto. Irika next to him was a little shocked, but felt that it was reasonable. The exciting music suddenly comes to mind. In the video, Uzumaki Naruto hit Gaara's head hard. I heard that he protected the village from the Jinchuriki of Sand Shinobi. Ooh, Uzumaki Naruto. I heard that Lord Tsunade has agreed to take over the position of 5th Hokage. Now everyone is relieved. Thanks to Jiraiya-sama and Naruto. In the video are the 5th Hokage and Jiraiya who are welcoming back the streets of Konoha, Shinobi Village, and that demon fox boy Uzumaki Naruto. Immediately following, the next image is it's the Valley of the End. Everyone watching the video was stunned. Actually, Sasuke, he grabbed the hem of his clothes and felt so nervous for some reason. The sky was hazy, and Naruto, dressed as a 12-year-old, lay on the ground unable to see whether he was alive or dead. A big hole was penetrated in the chest. Everyone watching was dumbfounded. Naruto had died, or almost died. Who Who did it? The image moved back, and on the ground was the forehead protector of the Konoha rebel ninja. Uchiha Sasuke stood next to Naruto, his forehead empty. Everyone's attention shifts to Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke has a premonition in the near future. Whether it is future images or horror questions and answers, I will definitely tell him this content completely. I heard that Uchiha Sasuke from their class, yes, even the last Uchiha in Konoha, also defected. I hope Naruto won't be depressed for too long. That silly boy, you use yourself to guarantee that Uchiha Sasuke will not harm Konoha, and ask Lord 5th Hokage to delay the judgment of treason. Another scene, it's the rebel ninja organization Akatsuki. What should I do? I heard that all tailed beast Jinchuriki are being targeted by Akatsuki. Then Uzumaki Naruto is also being targeted. Yeah, fortunately, there is Jiraiya-sama. After that, there is the 16-year-old boy Naruto. In the video is the scene that everyone has seen of Naruto shaking hands with Gaara, the Kazekage. I heard that Naruto protected Sand Shinobi's Kazekage from Akatsuki. It would be great if Sand Shinobi and Konoha can get along well. The future is really promising. In such memories, Iruka remembered what 3rd Hokage said to him. The 4th Hokage originally wanted Naruto to exist in the ninja village as a hero, but because of his status as a Jinchuriki, Naruto was ostracized by the village. Iruka, can I please help you? I will leave Naruto to you, and you will be his homeroom teacher. Turning to look at the confused child sitting alone on the swing outside the window, Iruka said, "Yes, Lord 3rd Hokage, I accept this commission." Watch Naruto being recognized by Konoha step by step. Watch him approach his dream step by step through his own efforts. Watch him become the hope of the whole village. In the video, Iruka was so excited that tears lingered in his eyes. 3rd Hokage, 4th Hokage. At this moment, the hero is right in front of me. Chapter 174, Level 10, Mouth Escape. Naruto, I will never forgive you. I just experienced a world-class movie viewing with plot twists and ups and downs. The ninjas, who have relatively good physical strength and relatively high mental endurance, are in relatively good condition. The common people, especially the nobles and daimyo who lacked awareness of exercise, were simply exhausted. But even so, people still couldn't get out of the movie viewing content for a long time. Country of Wind Sunagakure. Uzumaki Naruto is really an incredible guy. Sir Gaara has changed and will become friends with our future Kazekage. I bet that guy will become a Hokage. That's right. I felt this way before when I saw him shaking hands with Gaara-sama, who became the Kazekage. The Country of Thunder, Cloud, Shinobi Village. Did you defeat the leader of Akatsuki? It can be regarded as revenge for the Jinchuriki of our village. Hey, that's in the video by Wooden Golem, but he's staring at you over there. The man looked around and saw nothing. When he found out that he had been cheated, he was so angry that he almost threw a ninjutsu at him. Iwagakure, Kirigakure, I don't know how you feel after watching so many images one after another. I feel the same way. Why don't we go find Laozi and Han? It was really wrong of us to reject them like we did before. Yes, I have seen Uzumaki Naruto's experience and reflected on the fact that we did not make any concessions to the Jinchuriki of our village in the 553-year. Well, actually they haven't done anything to us. Oh, I can't think too deeply about it. If I think about it deeply, the tailed beast was also forcibly captured by modern people. Hey, this is a forbidden sentence. Hey, everyone nearby is busy talking about the content of the video, so no one can hear me. Konoha during the meeting between the 5 Kage and the Great Ninja Village. The Kage was sour and sour when discussing political issues with the 3rd Hokage and the 2nd Hokage, while expressing his envy, jealousy, and hatred towards Konoha from the side. A man who had been hesitating for a long time finally made up his mind and rushed to the front of Konoha Shinobi School to find Naruto sitting there blankly. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto and his acquaintance Genin all looked over. Naruto felt that this uncle looked familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen him before. However, he did not remember that Namake's Minato behind him could not admit his mistake. That person was the owner of a certain mask shop who treated his son like a germ in the previous image. Those who also recognized the person, including Sasuke, little Sakura, and other Genin, stood up and stared at him. Although they didn't glare, they didn't welcome him more. Uchiha Sasuke. Is something wrong? Naruto had a puzzled look on his face and was about to wonder what kind of wind Sasuke was having with this tone. He heard the boss suddenly apologize to him. I pushed you down before and said it was my fault that you killed 4th Hokage. To be honest, almost everyone in Konoha said this to him, and he really couldn't remember where this guy ranked. But the mask shop owner, as well as some Konoha villagers who came one after another at this time to see Uzumaki Naruto, couldn't let go so easily. If in the previous images, as bystanders looked at their actions back then, they felt ashamed, and at the same time, they could find some solace for their consciences by saying, Naruto killed the 4th Hokage. After seeing one after another that Uzumaki Naruto is the son of the 4th Hokage, and that the 4th Hokage has kept a part of the chakra for more than 10 years, while watching all this in Naruto's body, I also saw in Iruka's memories Naruto's sad growth process and redoubled efforts. And finally, at the age of 16, he saved all Konoha and won the title of hero. Many people have said, I'm sorry, and if they don't say it, they will feel heartbroken no matter what. Uzumaki Naruto, who still hasn't figured out who is this uncle, successfully accepted the store clerk who was unwilling to sell to him, and the cafeteria owner who refused to allow him to eat in the store. Apologies from several parents who did not allow their children to have contact with him. Compared with the people who apologized to him while watching the movie, Uzumaki Naruto was really dumbfounded by the flow of people who came one after another and almost occupied the entire street. After passively receiving 12 years of malicious isolation, he suddenly faced a large amount of goodwill. He didn't know how to digest them, let alone how to respond. In the image, Uzumaki Naruto becomes the hero of Konoha. He is a well-deserved hero. Not only did he defeat the enemy with his own strength, but he also convinced the opponent to use the unborn technique to bring back all the people in Konoha who died in this disaster. Looking at the image, the future belongs to Uzumaki Naruto. At that time, movie theaters around the world were shocked. The people of Konoha can be so sad. Actually, is this the case? Yeah, no wonder Kakashi died, but later became one of the captains of the Ninja Alliance in the 4th Ninja War. I was scared to death. I seemed to see myself in the image too, but luckily I was resurrected, thanks to Uzumaki Naruto. Listen to these compliments. To be honest, Naruto couldn't relate. After all, even if it was him, those praises belonged to another future Uzumaki Naruto. In contrast, the intense conversation between him and Nagato in the video made him think even more, taking out the Gensho Ninja Den obtained from the Gaseki Sennin using the back attack technique. Uzumaki Naruto remembered what the Gaseki sage in the image had said, the era when people can truly understand each other will eventually come. You and Nagato are both children of prophecy, and you will lead to the coming of that era. How can such an era come? Currently, Naruto has no clue. And even the masked man who calls himself Uchiha Madara also aims for peace. But he thought he could not forgive the person who killed his parents, Uzumaki Naruto. Nonsense. How can you forgive me? Just like the future him in the image. Even so, I still can't forgive you, because the pain in the image killed the most important person of that Uzumaki Naruto, destroyed Konoha, killed too many people important to him, and destroyed too many memories important to him. But Immortal House believed in me. He entrusted everything to me. So I also try to believe what Immortal House once believed deeply. This is my answer. Naruto opened the Gensho Ninden in his hand and turned to the introduction page, protagonist and Naruto. He silently recited the name in the book that was the same as his own. This is the name his father, the 4th Hokage, used to name him. In the video, whether it is him, the 4th Hokage, or his senior brother Nagato, they have all assumed the role of the protagonist Naruto. If peace really exists, then I will hold on to it tightly. I will never give up. My name is Dash. Naruto pressed his thumb hard on his heart and said his name, Naruto. At that time, he was once overwhelmed by Nagato's description of the pain of war, but when he saw the self in the image confidently poking his chest and calling out their names, he was overwhelmed. Really, so handsome. Uchiha Sasuke, who was standing next to him, patted him. What do you think of the person with the tail of a crane, or something so handsome? I'm recalling the conversation between me and Nagato in the future. Naruto's blue eyes were filled with expectation for the future Zoro. He pushed aside the crowd and walked up to Pain and Konan. Pain, Uzumaki Naruto. This name is really not simple. The former is Uzumaki, who is of the same race as him, and the latter is Naruto, the protagonist that Mr. Jiraiya has pinned his hopes on, as if God is the son of fate. As long as I think of the conversation with Uzumaki Naruto in the future image, even my current self and Konan will be willing to believe him and give a try. You have a good name, Uzumaki Naruto. Pain said. Uzumaki Naruto gave a thumbs up. Of course. He said, Nagato, I have something to say to you. Pain and Konan looked at him, and Pain asked, What do you want to say? At this time, a gust of wind blew by. The wooden leaves were rolled up, and the sun shone on them. Although because of the horror quiz or the image, what happens in this world may not be the same as the future in the image. But Naruto stared into Pain's eyes and said, Inheriting the name Naruto, it is equivalent to inheriting the dreams of the Hokage Senshi and the fourth Hokage. So I will work hard to realize their dreams. After a moment of silence, Pain said, We used to be just like you. Weren't we all changed by the world in the end? He asked Naruto sharply. So why do you think you won't change? Speak directly and do what you say. This is my way of ninja. Naruto said, I don't know if it will be changed, and I won't boast too much now. But I won't give up. I will definitely become a Hokage. Although the future will be different, I will still find ways to change the rules of ninjas. Let the big countries reduce disputes. And then I will also bring peace to small countries like the Land of Rain. In the shocked eyes of Pain and Konan, Naruto's eyes gradually became lonely again, and he looked at the masked man. Although I will never forgive you. It was you who killed my father and mother. I still don't know what it's like to have parents. 1.8. But I still want to hear it. Hear you talk about your pain and thoughts of peace. Naruto said, Of course, forget about the ninjutsu that makes people all over the world dream. Illusions without dreams and future will end up with breathing corpses. The masked man repeated Naruto's words. Breathing corpses? He always felt that something was about to be caught by him, but it was also a little unbelievable. Boy, second Hokage interrupted at this moment. How do you think 100,000 white Zetsu came from? Uchiha Obito was shocked. What do you mean? White Zetsu? Kakashi and Sasuke suddenly remembered the white, human-like monster they saw in the slot machine before. What on earth do you know? Uchiha Obito used Manjiki Hollow's ability to directly bypass the crowd blocking him and rush to Senju Tobirama. Obito looked at second Hokage dangerously and threatened. What on earth are you question? The new question still has the weird metallic tone of a horror quiz. People who have experienced horrific questions and answers immediately sounded the alarm. Chapter 175, Horror Q&A. The reward is scarier than the problem. The sudden, horrifying question shocked the Konoha shinobi fans, especially the two generations of Hokage, Senju Tobirama and Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had experienced the death of more than 30 Konoha village residents before. Oops, there are too many people here, especially a large number of civilians. Senju Tobirama glanced at the main street of Konoha Shinobi School, which was extremely crowded at the moment, because most people had gathered here to watch the movie before, and then many villagers came one after another to apologize to Uzumaki Naruto, causing the entire Konoha Shinobi School to be surrounded. According to the previous rules, once a question is spoken in the horror Q&A, any language will be judged as an answer. If the answer is wrong, it will be immediately erased. Second generation Senju Tobirama winked at Uzumaki Mito. Mito immediately used the sealing technique to seal the sounds within a certain area, so that no one here could make a sound. Question: who did Uzumaki Kushina once said she wanted her son to be like? Everyone was shocked. What is the problem? Naruto's throat moved slightly. Uzumaki Kushina was his mother. Apart from Naruto, the first person to react was Sasuke. He turned to look at Naruto. Sure enough, the man at the end of the crane was already in a daze. In addition, upon hearing this question, Namake's Minato, who had been standing behind Naruto, was also stunned. Kushina. Minato was startled by this question and suddenly mentioned his dead wife. Even he, fourth Hokage, was stunned for a moment. Who does Kushina want his son to be like? Regarding this trivia question, Namake's Minato certainly knows the answer. Looking at the golden head in front of him, Minato smiled slightly. He has a carefree personality and maybe a little less talented in learning, but his passion, love, and sense of justice, as well as his perseverance to pursue his dreams, are exactly the same as that child. But then he thought of some almost impossible possibility, and Minato turned to the masked man, and the expression on his face instantly became serious, even fierce. Impossible. Obito died in the Battle of Canopy Bridge 15 years ago, and his name is engraved on the Konoha Memorial Monument. While Minato was deep in thought, Naruto was now excited and melancholy. He desperately hopes to see images of his mother, but he can't answer this terrifying question. Thinking of this, Naruto really scratched his head anxiously. He looked at Aunt Mikoto. Aunt Mikoto was his mother's best friend. She had told him so many interesting stories about his parents before. Maybe she would know the answer. Naruto thought. After all, Aunt Mikoto even knew that her mother once said that the fourth Hokage was like a transvestite. It's a pity that Naruto's guess was wrong. He knew it when he saw Aunt Mikoto shaking her head at him in embarrassment. Aunt Mikoto didn't know either. He slumped his shoulders slightly in disappointment and looked at the scenery fairy and Grandpa third generation. They got a confused look and an apologetic look from two people who sighed and shook their heads. Why is it like this? Little Naruto rubbed his blonde hair even more, almost getting angry. Even if he asked the most reliable Shikamaru about this kind of thing, Shikamaru would never know. Unexpectedly, it was Shikamaru who kicked Naruto and asked him to look at Kakashi with a troubled expression on his face. Shikamaru remembers very clearly that in the first round of the Chunin exam, after Naruto was attacked by a certain Genin, Kakashi said this when he grabbed the Genin: "You have no right to mention Minato-sensei's name." So Kakashi knows that his father is a fourth Hokage, and he's also a student of the fourth Hokage. Naruto was reminded by Shikamaru, and he turned to look at Kakashi. "Mr. Kakashi is my father's student. So, do you know who his character is like?" Although Naruto actually doesn't have much hope for Mr. Kakashi, who is just his father's student. But when he saw Kakashi's shocked expression and the way he was immersed in his own memories, he knew that Mr. Kakashi might actually already know the answer. He rushed to Kakashi, hoping that Teacher Kakashi could tell him the answer. Kakashi shook his head dully. Although Naruto's character is very similar to Obito, this movie is enough to show that Kushina's sister wants Naruto's character to be like Oito. Who is Uzumaki Naruto? Is that beast's intuition fake? He immediately knew that Kakashi-sensei had some unspeakable secrets or uncertainties. But for now, the only person who knows the closest to knowing the answer is Kakashi-sensei. Rule. On the ground in front of them, the word rule appeared like a cursed seal. People nearby jumped away quickly. Words emerge in rows 1. There are 3 opportunities, and all life forms in the field are eligible to answer. 2. Life forms that answer incorrectly will be deprived of their vital signs immediately as punishment. 3. After the 3 independent living beings were deprived of their vital signs, this Q&A ended and the domain barrier opened automatically. 4. If you answer the correct answer within the opportunity, the domain barrier will automatically open, and the answer will receive corresponding rewards. Exactly the same rules as the first Q&A. Shadow Clone Naruto is ready. He is anxiously waiting for the answer. While staring at Kakashi, A metallic horror sound began to announce the reward. Award. Reward 1. Ninjutsu Great Spiral Rinyu Experience Volume. In the open space of the ninja school, a sealed scroll suddenly appeared. It's about the size of a palm, one size smaller than the heaven and earth scrolls. The dark purple color looks a bit chaotic and gorgeous. There's a piece of white paper floating next to the sealed scroll with 2 or 3 lines of text on it. Ninjutsu Experience Coupon can only be used once. How to use? After unlocking the seal of the prop scroll, you can activate it on the spot. Please be careful when using it. Uzumaki Minma's S-level ninjutsu, the Great Spiral Rinyu, is more powerful than Uzumaki Naruto's Sage Art Wind-style Spirax Shuriken, and is almost as powerful as Senpain's Super, Shinra Tensei's Destruction Team. Once destroyed the entire Konoha with one blow. The whole of Konoha fell silent. No one reacted for more than 10 seconds. There are really too many flaws. Even the man who participated in the Fourth Ninja War and knew everything Second Hokage, Senju Tobirama, was confused. He looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and asked him with his eyes, "How many times has Konoha been destroyed?" Sarutobi Hiruzen, "Not once yet." Teacher Tobirama followed Umbu's gestures and asked him, "How many children does that boy from 4th generation have?" Why did another Uzumaki Minma pop up? With such a strong strength, why did you go to the 4th World War? If you don't come out to help, it's unreasonable. In addition to Senju Tobirama roaring in his heart, these questions also made Sarutobi Hiruzen's head grow bigger. 12 years ago, it was his wife Bawako who was responsible for delivering Kushina's baby. Theoretically, she was the one who knew best how many children Kushina had given birth to. But after the Nine Tails Rebellion, they only found the bodies of Bawako and 2 other medical ninjas. Before Minato and Kushina died, they only entrusted him with a child. When I think about it, Minato may actually have 2 sons, but the other one was lost. In the future, he may even be trained by someone unknown to become an enemy of Konoha and come back to destroy Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen literally broke into a cold sweat instantly. I wanted to break into a cold sweat more than he did, but because he was a ghost, nothing could come out. Of course, it must be the child's father, 4th Hokage, Namikaze Minato. It's obviously just a prize, but the result is more terrifying than the terrifying problem. What kind of trouble is going on? FT, he only has 1 son, right? Right. Kushina, they only have 1 child. Naruto, right? So who is Uzumaki? AP, if the entire field hadn't been sealed by Uzumaki Mito, it would have been boiling. Nothing could be more intense for people's 8 trigram souls than this moment. Uzumaki Minma and Uzumaki Naruto. They sound like brothers' names, right? Teacher Jiraiya, the author of the best-selling series of books, is even more imaginative. Knowing his disciple's ability in naming, he wondered if Minato was too unrestrained in naming him. Then that girl Kushina was directly behind Naruto, naming the child and matching it with the condiments in the ramen. Uzumaki Naruto, Uzumaki Minma, Uzumaki braised egg, Uzumaki barbecued pork. No. Kushina shouldn't have given birth to so many children. After all, she was attacked by a masked man when she was giving birth to Naruto, and both she and Minato died. At this time, the nearby residents of Konoha were all staring at Naruto. The original issues related to him didn't do anything to him, but a bonus prize pushed Naruto to the forefront. Uzumaki Naruto, who didn't know if he might have a brother, was really dumbfounded. Why do his brothers want to destroy Konoha? Although it is not shown in the image, the other future Sasuke learned that his brother was killed by Konoha's mission and joined Akatsuki to use his brother's eye power to attack 8 Tails. Isn't the uncle against Konoha? It really made him scratch his head, even more than that question that made him scratch his head. Also, he hates eating Minma, 1,000 bamboo shoots. Looking at the dark purple seal scroll, Naruto was about to cry. Why are the rewards of this horror quiz so cruel recently? First, the masked man was given 600 billion detonating talismans, and now he was given a ninjutsu experience coupon comparable to Super Shinra Tensei. This is really enough. Maybe it wasn't enough, and in accordance with international practice, horror questions and answers gave another chance to resurrect. Reward 2. Corresponding to the respondent's ninja village, 10 dead ninjas are randomly selected. The respondent can choose one person at will, resurrected. This reward is an operation mode that everyone in Konoha is familiar with. However, other ninja villages have not encountered this mode of rewarding resurrection. And for a moment, I had the urge to try to answer the correct answer. After all, which ninja village has no regrets? Which ninja village doesn't want this opportunity? But even if you have this idea, the notice in the rules that you will die if you answer incorrectly is not just for fun. So the ninjas in each village were once again hurt by Konoha. The questions, rules, and rewards have all been announced, just short of the correct answer. The appearance of Konoha and the ninjas in each village were all seen by Uchiha Obito. He snorted relentlessly in his heart. This is the ninja world. Everyone will think for their own interests and the interests of the ninja. He looked towards Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, then how do you save this false world? Chapter 176, repeatedly jumping horizontally, were the answers to horror trivia. Except when Uchiha Obito was transformed into a fae, Deidara was undoubtedly the talkative and cheerful one among the rebel ninjas present. His voice was suddenly silenced, and his conditioned reflex was to produce a few pieces of art. Uchiha Obito is using Manjiki Sharingan's ability to absorb Deidara's bomb into the Kamui space, but then he thinks it might not work. Hiss, there are 600 billion detonating talismans inside. Fortunately, Konan wrapped those arts with paper ninjutsu in time, causing Deidara's arts to misfire again. No matter how much Deidara wants to make trouble, she still has to see Sister Nan's strength and the majesty of the leader. After such a fuss, Jiraiya suddenly had an idea, proudly taking out another book, The Legend of Nesho Ninja. Kushina and Minato must hope that Naruto's character is like the protagonist Naruto in his novel, right? Like the male protagonist of Genshonen Denden. He has the perseverance to never give up. He immediately pointed at the book and reminded Naruto. Naruto also thought it made sense. He made various gestures to Sister Mito, hoping that she would unlock the seal. The ninjas of Konoha immediately summoned a huge scroll and wrote the words "absolutely no talking" on it. Remind all villagers within the domain boundary to ask them not to make any noise, especially children who must cover their mouths. The residents of Konoha village who had witnessed the sick answer killing more than 30 people in a last round of quizzes all kept their mouths shut. Uzumaki Mito releases the Seal Naruto Shadow clone, jumped in to answer the question. Jiraiya, Sasuke, Gaara, Shikamaru, Might Guy, and others keenly noticed that Kakashi raised his hand slightly to block it, but put it down anyway. Anyway, there were 3 opportunities, and Naruto's shadow clone was used, so it wouldn't be a big problem to answer wrongly. Naruto Weilai's eyes were full of confidence. Although I have never met her, my mother probably hopes that I will become someone like the male protagonist in the legend of Gunshu Ninja. Persistence, a chance for peace. Then become a Hokage. Change the rules of the ninja world. Namake's Minato looked at his confident son, so maybe it's not a mistake. The masked man looked at Kakashi strangely. He had been paying attention to Naruto and Kakashi. Uzumaki Naruto's answer was something he expected, but why did the fake Kakashi look like that? This puzzled Uchiha Obito until mistake. Although it didn't matter that there were still 2 chances, Naruto was still greatly disappointed. He thinks this answer is okay. Doesn't his mother want him to be like the person in the book? But he immediately discovered that he was wrong. The heroic immortal was pointing to the name of the protagonist in the book, but he just forgot to say his own name. Before anyone could react, Uzumaki Naruto quickly gave his second answer. Naruto. My mother wants me to be like Naruto, the protagonist of the legend of Gensho Ninja. Kakashi Naruto. Uchiha Obito knew he was wrong again when he saw Kakashi's anxious look. Answer, mistake. Bang. In front of everyone, Uzumaki Naruto was obliterated by the horrific question. Uzumaki Mito sensed through chakra and discovered that it was Naruto's shadow clone 1 step ahead of others. She immediately reformed the seal and opened the sound seal again. Bang! Everyone found out that the erased Naruto turned into a shadow clone. Although Naruto was impulsive again, he was not stupid and knew to use a shadow clone to answer the question instead of himself. But his behavior still PD off Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura. Although they can't make a sound, it doesn't stop them from beating people. One punch at a time, Naruto could only cover his head and squat on the ground in pain, unable to make a sound, and learn how to jump around like a toad. But this time it is really a big crisis, and there's only one last chance. After finishing the trick, Naruto was really worried. Others were also sweating. When Naruto answered the question for the first time and for the second time, Kakashi made a move to stop him. The first time I gave up halfway, the second time I didn't make it in time. These little moves are all seen by the experienced Jiraiya, as well as the pupil family Uchiha and Hyuga. They looked at Kakashi in confusion, wondering if he knew the answer and knew that Naruto got the answer wrong. Why didn't he tell the answer directly? In fact, Kakashi is not sure whether his answer is right or wrong. But when Naruto was really about to explode or cry, Kakashi stood up and put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. With a wry smile, he gestured to Master Mito. After the seal was lifted, the moment he said the answer, the masked man felt that the fakeness of that garbage gave him a new understanding. Uchiha Obito, the masked man, almost answered for a moment. Then I thought I'd been discovered and was so frightened that I froze. Until he heard that terrifying metallic sound. Correct answer. Uchiha Obito was shocked. But fortunately, he was wearing a mask, and no one noticed anything strange about him. As Kakashi's contemporaries, Might Guy, Shinui Gima, and others immediately understood what Kakashi had hesitated to say before. Thinking of their ninja school classmate, Uchiha, who had the worst grades, the ninjas of that generation fell into depression. Only Shun himself continued to be stunned. He heard Uzumaki Naruto shouting, "Show me Mom." And that guy named Uchiha Obito, why does Mom want to be like him? Learn. To be honest, Pain and Konan present now seemed a little helpless. He appeared in Konoha inexplicably and watched images of the future for most of the day. Since they were told that Madara would betray them, wouldn't it be better for them to see why Konan was killed by Uchiha Madara first? Forget it. I want to come to Konoha to check out the conspiracy of Madara anyway, so I'll wait a little longer. The image from the previous hour appeared again in front of Konoha Shinobi School. Senju Tobarama sighed. If this continues, how will those ninja students go to class? Should we give them a holiday? When the nearby Kinomaru trio heard this, they almost jumped for joy. Probably because Naruto was anxious to see the video. The reward seemed to be postponed to a later date. The big trees in the sky, the light revealed in the green shade, the chirping of birds, and the kunai shurikens on the tree trunks all feel familiar to Konoha Shinobi readers. It's the training ground in the Konoha forest. Kakashi said, Minato-sensei used to give a special training there. Naruto's eyes were bright, happy that he could learn more about the fourth Hokage in such a short period of time. Uchiha Obito and Noararin. There was a hint of loneliness in Kakashi's deep voice. The masked man in the distance stared closely at the image, not wanting to miss it for a second. They saw the fourth Hokage in the video, wearing a Genin uniform, training his students in the woods, and it seemed that he had just completed a drill. Well, you did a good job. You actually hit me. Namake's Minato looked at the slit cut by the kunai on his sleeve and praised the three students in front of him. Yeah, teamwork. Listening to his father's voice, Naruto was so excited that he repeated the words that Mr. Kakashi always kept repeating when he taught them. Little did he know that Kakashi felt so guilty when he heard the word teamwork. Then everyone saw a picture behind fourth Hokage's handsome face and three silhouettes. How to describe it? Kakashi-sensei turned out to have blind eyes when he was little. Uzumaki Naruto laughed so loudly that others looked at the image and then looked back at Kakashi. Then he turned his head and tried his best to hold back his laughter. It made Kakashi unable to go deeper, even if he wanted to. Namake's Minato looked at the interactions between himself and the three students back then, and was looking forward to these memories. In the image, a beautiful girl with sunny brown hair and oil paint on her face is standing next to Kakashi as a child, happy for his outstanding achievements. Her voice was as energetic as her person. "You are so awesome for hitting Minato-sensei, Kakashi." The girl's smile contains a gentleness that heals people's hearts. Little Sakura, what a cute girl. She's about the same age as us, right? Kakashi-sensei. Naruto sarcastically said to Kakashi, Hey, does that girl like you?" Kakashi's eyes were full of nostalgia. They are just companions and classmates. When he woke up at midnight, the only thing he could recall about Lin's face was the moment between life and death. "I just hit Mr. Minato once, nothing to praise." In the video, the little Kakashi responded to the girl like this. The sense of DJVU came immediately. Naruto looked at Kakashi-sensei, and then at the BD Sasuke next to him. Kakashi-sensei looks a bit like a guy who calls himself a genius. "It's really annoying. Who told you to be the last person?" Sasuke laughed at Naruto. Kakashi smiled sheepishly. To be honest, looking at himself back then, Kakashi finally knew how those people who had been publicly executed by video felt. It's just so awkward. A person as shameless as him would blush. But luckily he had a mask, a two-layered one. Haruno Sakura pointed at the image and asked Kakashi, "Kakashi-sensei, the one behind you, when she organized her words, who is that boy who looks like Naruto?" "He is Uchiha Obito." Just as Kakashi finished speaking, Sakura was suddenly surprised. "The Uchiha clan actually has a crane tail? Uchiha Sasuke, Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Shisui." Mikoto's forced smile. These kids are confused about how big Uchiha is. I'm most afraid of the sudden silence in the air. "Uchiha Cranetail Obito." Sakura reacted. Sorry, Mr. Kakashi." Sakura roared in little Sakura's heart. It's all idiot Naruto's fault. Who made that boy named Obito look so much like him? So why did he subconsciously think that the other person must also be a loser?" Kakashi rubbed little Sakura's head, smiling more tenderly and helplessly than usual. "Obito is my hero." "Hero?" Sasuke glanced at Naruto and asked provocatively, "A guy with a crane?" Kakashi ignored the two students who were arguing again and Haruno Sakura, who was trying to break up the fight, and even turned on Sharingan to record this rare image. The black-haired boy in the video can't stand the fact that Kakashi is the only one in the limelight, but I can do that too. Puff. Even Shikamaru laughed. He really looks exactly like the idiot Naruto. Naruto, who was arguing with Sasuke, turned to Shikamaru. "What did you say?" Halfway through Naruto's words, a woman's voice suddenly appeared in the image. It was this sound that made Naruto stop talking instantly and twist his neck stiffly. The moment he saw the figure in the image, 2 lines of tears almost poured out of his eyes. Mom. Chapter 177, Holding Back Tears for 12 Years. Come on, a rush. In the image, it's just a coincidence, right? A huge picnic basket was held in the hand of the red-haired woman, and she didn't know how many delicious foods were put in it. When it hit the head of the boy named Uchiha Obito, it made a heavy thunk sound. Uchiha Obito turned around and saw the person coming. A head of fiery red hair almost hanging down to her ankles. She only used a simple hairpin to hold back the broken hair in front of her forehead to prevent it from blocking her eyes. With a strong but gentle smile, he complained about the young man named Tion in a funny voice. Naruto stared at the image. He had seen photos of his mother as a girl at Aunt Mikoto's place. When the red-haired woman's face appeared in the image, he immediately confirmed that the woman was his mother, Uzumaki Kushina. Uzumaki Naruto didn't want to cry. After all, there were so many people here. But the first time he heard Kushina's voice, tears welled up from my eyes on their own. Keep that voice firmly in your heart. Remember it for a lifetime. Naruto stared straight at the image. He didn't know that there were actually several people nearby who were also staring blankly at the image. Kushina. Namake's Minato looked at his beloved wife and had a lot to say in his heart. He wanted to tell her about Naruto's growth and Naruto's future. I want her not to worry about Naruto. Although he's a child who is not very good at taking care of himself, he has a group of great companions around him. And there is another person who has the same dream as them. And he's also a good boy who has the dream of Hokage. So don't worry too much. Don't worry too much. I'm sorry, Shinshin. Namake's Minato couldn't say anything except an apology, and she couldn't hear it anymore. In the video, the little brown-haired girl looks very happy and goes up to greet the red-haired woman. Are you all working hard? The red-haired woman encouraged her husband's 3 subordinates. The answer for them was Namake's Minato. Well, they did a great job. We were just getting ready to take a lunch break. That's great. Here's my condolence gift for you. I Kushina-sama specially made rice balls for lunch. Open the picnic basket, which is so huge that it's almost funny. It's actually filled with nutritious rice balls to replenish your energy. Naruto's mother seemed a bit straightforward and boyish. Just like Naruto, it gives people a feeling of wanting to get close to him unconsciously, like an innate affinity. Naruto was a little excited to see this extremely ordinary daily life, staring at the woman's face as if to remember every detail in his mind. The masked man was also staring at the image in a daze. Today's Uchiha Obito is no longer Uchiha 230 Obito. He is no one's man. He killed the woman in the image. He killed the 4th Hokage, teacher Shisui, who would save his life many times and whom he always admired. Before, he could still say to himself, as long as he completes Project Tsukinomi, he can recreate a world where everyone is here, a world where Rin, teacher Minato, sister Kushina, and Benkaka are here. However, recently, the memory of Uchiha Madara in his mind has become confused, and Black Zetsu and White Zetsu are no longer credible. Even Black Zetsu has probably been erased. At least he contacted Black Zetsu many times afterwards, but failed. Contact with. He began to feel confused, but he didn't dare to feel confused, because once he loses that road as his guideline, all the sins return to him as Uchiha Obito, which even he couldn't bear. It seemed that death was not enough atonement for a person like him. In the video, the voice of the girl Lin pulled Obito back to his consciousness. That's great. I like Kushina-san's cooking the best. The brown-haired girl immediately captured his sister, who was a domineering girl, hugged her, and kissed her again and again. Lin is such a cute child. Such an honest Lin is such a good girl. Immediately afterwards, the young boy who looked like Naruto in the video snorted deliberately, which immediately aroused the dissatisfaction of the Miss Kushina, who came to deliver lunch to them. Is this your attitude towards me, the lady who specially prepared a lunchbox for you? I didn't ask you to do this. Besides, I'm not hungry at all. The sound of the boy's stomach rumbling immediately after was specially highlighted and enlarged by the image. People in the entire viewing area clearly heard this unintentional sound. Many people couldn't help but laugh at the Uchiha boy in the video. There are even those who miss the young man, the old man with most of his feet in the coffin, holding fruit candies in his withered palms, smiling with nostalgia in his eyes. Kakashi also showed the same disappointment and nostalgia. Well, it's lucky Obito isn't here, otherwise he would be so angry, right? The surrounding contemporaries understood Kakashi's mood, and no one took the blame. Masked man. Trash, fake, stupid Kakashi. At this time, Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Itachi each had an extra hand on their heads. It's their mother, Uchiha Mikoto. Mikoto smiled and complained that Obito is also a standard little Uchiha. Kushina often told me about Obito in the past. Sasuke. Speaking of Uchiha Obito, the masked man quietly pricked up his ears. She said that most men in Uchiha are arrogant and arrogant. Mikoto smiled. Although many people say that Obito doesn't look like Uchiha from the elite family, Kushina often says that a child who is so awkward like Obito is not what is Uchiha. Sasuke curled his lips. Little Sakura couldn't help laughing. Sakura roared, Sasuke-kun is so cute. Itachi smiled helplessly. His brother was indeed quite awkward. I wonder if little Itachi still remembers. Mikoto immediately started bullying the eldest son again. Kushina said that in comparison, you and Shisui don't look like the children of the Uchiha clan. Shisui couldn't help laughing. When Itachi looked over, he quickly made an apology gesture. Because he has faced Danzo openly, Shisui's hidden mission is also lifted. Even the main combat force to capture Danzo later will be Shisui's share. Here I heard the conversation between Aunt Mikoto and Sasuke. Normally Naruto would interrupt at this time. How could he miss this good opportunity to complain about Sasuke? But now he didn't want to look away from the image for almost a second. Kushina in the video is really a gentle big sister. He advised Obito, don't be brave. You have to have a full stomach to train. You can't fight if you are hungry, right? Seeing this, Mikoto and Minato in Ghost State snickered and secretly said that Kushina is not such a character. Sure enough, under the stubbornness of the standard Uchiha boy, Kushina smiled and transformed into a red pepper. You are really brave. Do you think I would say that? Wow, your hair is floating. Ino said in shock as she looked at the image. Jiraiya suppressed a smile. That girl is Uzumaki, who has the title of Blood Red Pepper. She is very scary. Ino and little Sakura were curious. Really? Jiraiya scratched his face. Anyway, my disciple who is the fourth Hokage has always followed her. I'm so curious. Naruto's parents, I always feel that they are very interesting people. Obito, who was beaten on the head, covered the sore spot and was being scolded. Kushina lectured him. Shut up and go eat. Health is also a compulsory course for ninjas. Being so unfrank proves that you are still a little kid. I said, seeking rights. Naruto, I said Tifuchi went. Kakashi explained. This is Kushina-san's oral habit. It's very similar to your b-ball habit. You will use it accidentally every time you get emotional. Naruto smiled stupidly, and his tears began to wipe away again. In the video, Kushina and Obito are quarreling. Not far away are the helpless Namikaze Minato, Hatake Kakashi, and Noara Lin. Facing his disciple and his wife, Minato, who is the fourth Hokage, is also helpless. You two eat first, haha. And over there, violent woman. Who are you calling a violent woman? Then as expected, Obito was beaten again. Mikoto laughed dryly. As expected of Kushina, Naruto stared at the image. In a clean and warm apartment, his father was reading a newspaper and his mother was helping his father mend the sleeves that were torn during the day. The two of them chatted about the parents' quarrels and the growth of the students. Such a warm home. It was enough for him to remember it in his dreams for a long time afterwards. Kakashi has grown up so fast. He has achieved such achievements at such a young age. He is truly worthy of being the son of Senior White Fang. Lin is also growing up very quickly. She will become a very good team, won't she? Namikaze Minato in the video snorted and mentioned, you lied to Obito. One masked man. Kushina paused her hands and said deliberately, he is just a bragging little guy, right? He can trip over himself when he walks. He can't throw shurikens. And his ninjutsu, and so on are very, endless. People's wishes. Naruto's background was pale. Mom, are you sure you're not talking about me? This year's Konoha Genin also looked at Naruto. The teasing meaning in their eyes couldn't be more obvious. Masked man, as you said, Namikaze Minato said, Obito does still have a lot to hone, but his optimistic and positive attitude is also very important. You have also discovered that because of Obito's presence, the bond in the team has become deeper. Uchiha, Obito. Isn't that Torin's credit? Minato-sensei. Is this how you see me? Kushina raised the corners of her mouth slightly and handed the sewn clothes to Shisui. Thank you. Minato took off his clothes and said with a smile, you don't need me to say this. After all, he's the one you admire most in my team, isn't he? Soon, the couple changed the topic. You are going on a mission again. I can't help it. We're at war now. Sorry, European state. In the video, Kushina was silent for a while, facing the window. Has the mission location been decided? Well, at Canopy Bridge. Kakashi. Canopy Bridge. What's wrong? Mr. Kakashi. No, it's nothing. Kakashi's eyes looked tired. Obito, Kushina. I really hope the war can end soon. The next day, Minato's team set out. Kushina came out to see them off, her words full of concern, and asked them to pay attention to safety during the mission. Lin promised that she would work hard, and even little Kakashi, who had always been an idol with a 3-ton burden like Sasuke, nodded obediently. Only little Obito, who has learned Uchiha's true heritage, looks awkward. He was like this, but he was even more troubled by Gyo Xinai's special care. Especially you, Obito. Kushina pointed at Obito's forehead. You are always too hasty, not flexible enough, and a restless little fool. So you have to be the most careful. That, little Sakura. Isn't this talking about Naruto? Sasuke. Yes, it's the one at the end of the crane. Shikamaru, Kiba, and others. Yeah. Obito glanced at them angrily. Hinata. But Naruto-kun's mother looked, very worried that Obito-kun would get hurt. As Hinata said, Kushina glared at Obito and told him, if you dare to come back injured, I will beat you. Sister Kushina. Kakashi fell into grief. Because of that mission, the person who was most seriously injured was Obito. His body was crushed by a huge rock, and he never came back from Canopy Bridge. That's right. His hero has died at Canopy Bridge. That masked man must not be Obito. He is the culprit who killed Mr. Minato. He is the culprit who killed Sister Kushina. Obito, the boy in the video, also understood the care in the other person's tone. Obito was so moved that he lowered his head to sort out his emotions, and then jumped to his feet and said, who do you think I am? I want to be the Hokage's man. Uchiha Obito-sama. Don't worry about anything at all. I will definitely complete the mission. Moreover, not only will I not be hurt, I will also let others come back without being hurt at all. Promise. The last smile of the boy named Obito was almost exactly the same as the Uzumaki Naruto they knew. And that Hokage dream. No wonder Kakashi-sensei's Uchiha Obito is the correct answer. The two of them just seem to have left together. Kushina. Yeah, it's agreed, I'll tell you. Naruto looked at the image and quietly replaced the boy smiling at his mother with himself. Because of their similar personalities, he fantasized about living with his mother in this way. In the video, looking at the back of Minato's team setting off from the gate of Konoha village, Kushina recalled the question Minato asked herself last night, why do you care so much about Obito? Kushina smiled. Because he inherited my dream. The morning sun is like the dawn. Kushina's voice is so gentle that Naruto is almost intoxicated. If one day we have a child, I hope that child can grow up optimistic and straightforward, just like he wants to be ugly. You may not be very smart. You may even be arrogant. But I hope he can cherish friendship, have perseverance, always maintain a positive and optimistic attitude, have dreams, and never forget his dreams. Keep yourself, will never be defeated. Obito couldn't stand the image anymore and turned his face away. At this point, the image also ends. The effect disappears. Everyone was about to relax. There was nothing particularly attractive about this image. They might as well continue discussing the previous image of Pain attacking Konoha. Woof woof. Akamaru suddenly barked twice at his teeth. Wait, there are still sounds. You said, dogs' hearing is more sensitive than humans. I'm sure there are still sounds. Yes, it seems to be the wind. Is it going to be the same as last time? There is no picture, only sound. The man suddenly reminded everyone. Everyone remembered a video without a picture that had appeared before a young boy's voice shouted, you who have not become a Hokage have no right to belittle the Hokage, let alone, you have no right to belittle my father who has become a Hokage. You what ABD? W-ah? Speaking of which, Uzumaki Naruto should have said that, right? At that time, I thought it was Asuma who said it. But who would disparage the fourth Hokage? That's right. If you want me to know who it is, I won't beat him. Boom! There was a sudden loud noise, and everyone jumped. But before they could figure out what was going on, they suddenly heard two voices. This world will not be destroyed. This world will be destroyed. Chapter 178 Question and Answer Awards. Who will Kakashi resurrect? What is this voice? In the midst of the discussion, you had the best hearing, and he immediately reacted. Naruto. There's a voice that belongs to the future Naruto. He said, but the other man's voice has not been heard. Everyone immediately started talking. This world will be destroyed. Thinking about these words, The grumpy fourth Raikage rushed to the masked man. He wanted to lift his collar, but was penetrated by that special ability. You guy, do you have any other accomplices? Dash. Deidara raised his hand and saw several clay spiders. However, because of Raikage's lightning-style body protection, those clay spiders cannot detonate even if they crawl on him. Accomplice? The masked man sneered several times. Of course, he could tell that the other voice was one he hadn't used for a long time, Uchiha Obito's voice. In fact, Obito is quite irritable at the moment. Because of that image, Obito's conscience, Obito's guilt, and Obito's love for the world were reawakened. These memories and feelings belonging to Uchiha Obito collide with Madara's memory and will. Two contradictory forces. Killing Kushina-san, killing Minato-sensei, not completing the agreement with Lin, losing his brother, losing his tribe, losing his best friend, despair of the ninja world. Obito's and Madara's multiple complex emotions rub against each other and fight fiercely. At this moment, he couldn't tell whether he was Uchiha Obito or Uchiha Madara, so he rushed into chaos and rage. If Raikage is ready to be aggressive at this time, he doesn't mind gesturing to the opponent right now. Why are you laughing? Sachikage Inoki also asked. Uchiha Obito was silent for a moment and challenged Senju Tobirama. If second Hokage knows, why don't you tell me who my accomplice is? I said that the 5 shadows will convey the information in one go during the meeting. The second Hokage itself is not someone who is easily provoked and is quite clear about its goals and plans. The masked man said nothing and sat there alone. Because of the image, he basically broke with Pain, Chūnin, and others. Only a heartless artist like Deidara, who only had blasting projects in his mind, could not notice the solemn atmosphere between the two. Kakashi looked away from there and received reward 1 ninjutsu Great Spiral Rinyu Experience Scroll. After adding a sealing technique to the scroll, just in case, summoned the ninja dogs and asked them to take the scroll away and hide it. Followed by bang, bang, bang. 10 loud bangs in a row. 10 wooden coffins rose out of thin air in the open space in front of Kakashi. The voice of Boo Q&A appeared again. Prize 2. Please choose one of the following people to resurrect. Just like before, the wooden coffin boards fell down one by one, revealing the face of the deceased inside. Unlike Konoha and Sand Shinobi, Iwagakure of Earth Country has experienced the resurrection of the dead. He saw some ninjas who clearly did not belong to this era and asked, "None of these corpses will rot?" Senju Tobirama said, "It should not belong to the original corpse of the deceased. It is more similar to impure world reincarnation. A new corpse is reshaped for the deceased to facilitate resurrection." Sachikage nodded to express understanding, and at the same time once again sighed in his heart at the omnipotence of this power. The first coffin contained a Konoha shinobi from the old era, whom not many people knew. The second coffin contained a ninja who rarely died alive and retired early during his period of decline. Although the person in the third coffin did not reach the end of his life, he still had no regrets. Right down to the 9 coffins on the ground, there was no ninja that anyone thought could be identified as a resurrection target. Kakashi smiled bitterly. It seems that my luck is really not that good. If he had Naruto's luck, he might be able to get the chance to resurrect Rin, Obito, Kushina-san, or Minato-sensei. Naruto, don't give up Kakashi-sensei. Little Sakura also comforted her. Yes, although these 9 people don't have many regrets. It's not bad to enhance Konoha's strength. Unfortunately, the upright boy Sasuke immediately dismantled little Sakura. There's no strong guy among these 9 people. Naruto, Sakura. Kakashi was so lucky that even Asuma made fun of him. How about you let Naruto answer the question next time? Why Kakashi? It would be a lie to say he was not disappointed. He was looking forward to this reward more than the ninjutsu experience ticket that could destroy Konoha Shinobi Village with one blow. Well, I was born with luck dash, the anger was not good. Before he finished speaking, Kakashi was stunned. The coffin board of the 10th coffin suddenly fell, and familiar yet unfamiliar faces and attire appeared in Kakashi's field of vision. Of course, it also appears in other people's field of vision. They looked at the one they had seen in the video not long ago after Kakashi's death. Konoha's white fang is encountered on the road to the Pure Land. I was also stunned. Might Guy was the first to react, with tears of youth bursting out of his eyes. Great! Kakashi, this is youth. Naruto-kun is right. Don't give up youth, because you never know that there is something better waiting for you. Akisa, who died at the hands of Hitaki Tsukumo. A feeling of suddenly the joke became my own. It was not a good mood. What kind of luck do you Konoha have? Senju Tobarama glanced at this junior of Sand Shinobi and responded a little awkwardly. There is no way. Maybe the son of luck is in our village. Terumi Mei sighed. In less than a month, you Konoha have occupied the vast majority of movie viewing content, and the rewards are also generous. That's right, Killer Bee. 80% of them are images of Naruto, bastards, and idiots. Zabuza was still coveting the 600 billion detonating talisman. It's a pity that tons of detonating talismans. Uzumaki Naruto, who was blessed by luck, was very happy for Mr. Kakashi at this time. That's great, Mr. Kakashi. I just want to stick to it until the end. When he was excited, his oral habit came out again. Kakashi had known about his fate since childhood, which was almost like a lone star in the sky. Whether it's his father, Lin, Obito, or Minato Sensei, every time it was him who was left behind. Only he survived. At this time, he hesitated a little. Is it really right to resurrect his father? After all, it was because of the criticism from the village that my father drove himself to a dead end. If he used the big spiral Ribyu to die together with the masked man, wouldn't his father, who was left alone, suffer the same pain of being left alone as he did before? What are you hesitating about? Kakashi-sensei, Naruto shouted. Resurrection of Konoha's white fang. Isn't he the teacher's father? Such an opportunity was missed. Even if Naruto did not regret his choice, I can still understand the pain. So he didn't want Kakashi-sensei to suffer the same feelings. Naruto, Kakashi looked at his student. Whether it's Kakashi-sensei or Konoha's white fang, it's a pity, isn't it? So what are you struggling with? Regret. Kakashi thought about this word. Yes, he still had too many regrets, and the horror quiz might indeed be an opportunity for him to change his regrets. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, yes, Kakashi, Tsukumo's death back then. On the one hand, it was related to the times. It was a time of war, and some important tasks might endanger the fate of the Land of Fire. On the other hand, it is the relationship between the village or the entire ninja world. He continued, faced with the choice of saving his companions or completing the mission, Tsukumo undoubtedly made the choice he thought was right, and he believed in it. I believe that Tsukumo never regretted his choice, even to the last moment. He just used his own method to silently fight back against the rules of the entire ninja world. Kakashi, your father is a hero. There was silence, and the shadows from other countries also agreed with this statement. Although people say it is scary, a hero like White Fang will not die from pressure. This statement is too funny. It's a joke. The White Fang of Konoha, he used his own death to fight back against the system of the entire ninja world. He is a hero. Uchiha Obito's heart was in turmoil again and again, and he couldn't help but grab his chest. The spell there was painful again. After Kakashi was shocked, his Adam's apple under the mask rolled slightly. I choose Hitaki Tsukumo. Please revive him. Confirmation of resurrection, Hitaki Tsukumo. Bang! After the white smoke passed, the first 9 wooden coffins disappeared in place. Only the 10th coffin chosen by Kakashi remained Hitaki Tsukumo's wooden coffin. A bright green light surrounded the wooden coffin, and an even larger chakra descended from the sky with vitality, flooding the wooden coffin like a flood. Visible to the naked eye, the dead wood of the wooden coffin is reborn, sprouts, and branches. It almost grew into a wooden shrine in a matter of tens of seconds. On both sides of the original wooden coffin, there are 2 wooden statues of Inugami looking at each other. Looking from a distance, this is an Inugami shrine. Itachi. This is similar to what happened when Mito-sama was resurrected. Shisui. according to the villagers who revived me. Shisui made a funny expression. My wooden coffin has grown into the crow Tengu's shrine. Ferret, but the second Hokage was not resurrected and the guy named Deidara had a huge amount of chakra. Sasuke informed, especially when the second generation was resurrected, the huge tree in the sky almost surrounded the entire ninja school and the sky above, and the images were all covered up. Hidden behind huge, dense shrubs, several Uchiha were immersed in thinking. Regarding the terror's question and answer, they still knew too little information. Over there, Itachi Sakumo opened his eyes and looked at the situation in front of him with some confusion. He looked around, and after a moment he came to the conclusion, this is Konoha Shinobi School. Back then, whenever he had no work to do, he would pick up his son Hatake Kakashi from school, so he was very familiar with this place. Daddy. Hatake Sakumo looked towards the man who called him Dad. This great hero of Konoha, a man who holds the title of Konoha's White Fang, has made numerous military exploits and is even more famous than Sannin. Shocked. Excuse me, are you? After a moment of reflection, Sakumo finally asked doubtfully under the blessing of the mask, Kakashi? Yes, Dad, Kakashi responded, hiding his excitement. It's been a long time now, right? Sakumo looked at Kakashi's covered left eye, knowing that he would be stuck after his death. A lot must have happened to Cassie again. Kakashi, it's been Konoha's 60th year now, and I'm 26 years old this year. Kakashi, Guy blessed his lifelong rival in his heart. He could hear Kakashi's calm appearance and the trembling final voice with a choked sound. Hatake Sakumo nodded. He looked around at the thousands of Konoha shinobi and civilians gathered here, and even ninjas from several other major national ninja villages. Especially when he saw Sunagekyu's Chi-Sha in the crowd, he felt a little dazed and still couldn't understand these strange phenomena. Kakashi, can you tell me what's going on now? And about you, what's wrong with your eyes? Kakashi lowered his head slightly. When he lifted it up again, he pulled the forehead protector up, revealing the severely scarred eyelids and the scarlet Sharingan. Chapter 179, the image, is revealed, causing internal strife in the Akatsuki organization. It seems you have been through a lot. Kakashi in Hatake Sakumo's memory was still a 6-year-old child. In a flash, he had been dead for 20 years. In his mind, death and resurrection happened in the blink of an eye. That little Kakashi, who was obedient and never let him worry, was actually 26 years old, still wearing Genin's uniform, and had an eye that belonged to Uchiha. Sakumo silently observed his son 20 years later in the child's eyes. The innocence and longing for the future were gone. Instead, there's only unconcealable tenderness and exhaustion. I'm sorry, Kakashi, Hatake said. My choice back then still affected you. I remember the scene in the image of my other future self meeting my father after death. Kakashi shook his head. No, Dad. He said, now I can understand your choice at that time. For the sake of important companions, break the rules of this ninja world. I'm proud of you now. Hatake Sakumo didn't know what happened, but he was indeed shocked by Kaka 850 Nishi's words, and then smiled and narrowed his eyes. You are indeed just like your mother, a gentle and tough child. Thank you, Kakashi. After stopping Kakashi, who still had something to say, Hatake Sakumo came to the third Hokage, Konoha Genin Hatake Sakumo, reporting back to the village. Then he looked at the young man next to third Hokage. Even the experienced Konoha's White Fang was also shocked. Second Hokage-sama, he really didn't know why the Hokage from the previous era appeared here and was still so young. Are you the one who will resurrect me? Sakumo asked. Senju Tobarama, who stood with his chest crossed, objected. It was not you who was resurrected by me, but you, including me, were resurrected by an inexplicable question. Q&A. Hatake Sakumo, who grew up in the war years, believes that he needs to collect information quickly so that he can make the best plan. Then what's the other party's purpose? Purpose? The purpose is probably to let us see images of the future, Senju Tobarama said. For now, except that we need to be careful about the rules of answering questions, there is nothing else. Hatake Sakumo doesn't understand what images of the future are now. But he would soon find out, because Pain can't wait to know why Uchiha Madara killed Konin. Aren't their goals all for world peace? So why? While everyone was immersed in the joy of Konoha's White Fang's resurrection, other ninja villages felt jealous that Konoha's strength had increased again. Pain growled in a deep voice. "That guy behind the quiz, have you forgotten something? Where's the image I want to see?" He pulled out the chakra black stick and pointed it at Uchiha Madara. "What is your purpose?" "Learn." At the same time as the metallic voice came to mind, the masked man said, "Didn't I say it? For world peace. In order for me to recreate a world without war, pain, and regret." A world without regrets? The moment he said this sentence, he always felt that something was almost caught by him, but he couldn't bear to miss it. Kakashi, on the other hand, frowned slightly. A world without regrets? Looking at the newly resurrected Konoha's White Fang, if their world continues to develop like this, will they be considered to have no regrets? As long as the teacher, Kushina-san, Lin, and everyone else who makes you regret are resurrected. Is there a world without regrets? He looked at the masked man in the distance and asked in his mind, "What is the world you want to create, and what is this world?" Kakashi looked at the sky that was suddenly covered by clouds and couldn't figure out. Dark clouds filled the sky, and raindrops fell from the sky. Knowing that this image had nothing to do with them, and was not even a matter of Konoha, many civilians left one after another, leaving only the ninjas without missions to collect intelligence, waiting to see the good show of Akatsuki to prevent internal strife. They all used their own ninjutsu to create shelter from the rain. Gaara had no expression on her face. She just stood with her arms crossed, and her two fingers made a few movements similar to one-handed decryption. The sand behind him poured out continuously from the gourd, and instantly turned into a sculpture of a woman. She held him, Naruto, and everyone nearby in her arms, and protected them from the wind and rain with her gentle hands. A new image opens the image, and the image was similar to Konoha at this time, with a gloomy sky and a steady drizzle. It's rained Shinobi Village. That's right, it's the only place where it rains all year round. Yes, the battlefield of the Second Ninja World War was in a land of rain. Sometimes it rains continuously, and the sky never clears up once a month. It's really uncomfortable to think about it. How much more would the ninjas living there have to suffer if they happen to be fire attribute chakras? The time in the image is difficult to estimate yet, but the location is clear. It is on the sea of the land of rain. Do you really think that guy has such great value? As soon as the voice in the video came out, everyone looked at the masked man. That's right, masked man, the voice of Uchiha Madara. That guy he's talking about is... The answer is currently unknown. In the video, two people in black and red cloud robes are fighting against each other. They're the masked man and Konin. Did it really break up? Is this an internal strife within the Akatsuki organization? This is great news for them. The people in Konoha looked at the masked man and the two important members of Akatsuki, Pain and Konin, with a bit of ridicule and expectation. Pain moved slightly and stood in front of Konin, blocking the masked man's sight towards Konin. The two men stared at each other with unkind expressions. Although Pain didn't understand why he angered Uchiha Madara by killing Konoha's Kakashi in the last image. But if Uchiha Madara takes action against Konin, then I will never let him go. Humph! The masked man snorted and turned to look at the image. He is the light. Konin's voice comes from the video. Although the angel in the rain is beautiful, he looks lonely, as if he has been abandoned by the world. As long as he can achieve his goal, there is no difference between life and death. That's why everyone holds the flower of hope. Immediately, some of the Nara clan watching the movie, such as Nara Shikamaru, reacted, holding the flower of hope. The him she refers to is Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto tilted his head at Shikamaru in a silly and cute way. It's not you. I'm talking about the future Uzumaki Naruto in the image. Shikamaru explained. Didn't he give Naruto the flower of hope in the previous image? Uzumaki Naruto was once again targeted by the three rebellious ninjas of the Akatsuki organization present. But no one took action against the 12-year-old kid at this time. They have more important information they need to know. Uchiha Madara in the video said, "What an irony. You betrayed me, but you are still wearing the uniform of Akatsuki. This proves that you still have nostalgia for Akatsuki, doesn't it? Akatsuki is the dream of Yahiko, Nagato, and me. The three of us." Konan, who was watching the movie, said, "My nostalgia only exists in our dreams and has nothing to do with you." Actually, he never trusted this man from beginning to end. It's just because Nagato is willing to trust him that she trusts Uchiha Madara. If images of the future prove their trust was misplaced, Konan was behind pain, with a sharp look in his eyes, and pieces of magic paper were buzzing around the 4.0 collar. The future Konan in the image also said the same thing as her. Akatsuki is an organization founded by Yahiko. She said, "The red cloud on this dress symbolizes the bloody war that brought Rain Shinobi Village. And you," she pointed at the masked man opposite, "I just stole Yahiko's Akatsuki. Why do you think I'm betrayal? This dress represents our justice. It is our dream. It has nothing to do with you." In the same reign as Konoha at this time, the kunoichi roared sonorously and powerfully. In sorrow, she is not weak, but her words were met with mocking laughter from the masked man present. "Ha ha 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 ha, Pain. What are you laughing at?" "I'm laughing at you. You don't know anything, you idiots." Chapter 180, The True Face of the Masked Man. Who is Akatsuki's real master? Hey, what's going on? Even Deidara was dumbfounded. "Faye, there's something wrong with you talking to the leader like this." It has nothing to do with you. You're just someone who was forced into the organization to help." The masked man directly kicked Deidara out of this complicated network of rebel-nin relationships. Deidara looked confused and didn't know what was going on, let alone where to help. He just vaguely felt that he was standing in the middle of the Shura field at this moment, suffering from inexplicable effects. After some thought, he fled to Mr. Inoki's side. Before he could get over, he was punched directly through. But luckily, it's a clay clone. Feeling aggrieved, Deidara finally bumped into Konoha Genin's queue. There is no way to shelter from the rain. The environment here is large and comfortable. In the previous images, it seemed that Gaara from another future was stripped of her tailed beast because of this bomb man, and would have almost died if Naruto hadn't saved her. So Deidara, who was ostracized again, became angry and just wanted to make some clay to scare a bunch of little kids. Behind Sasuke, Uchiha Itachi stood up. TSK. It was Itachi's Tsukuyami who forced him to join the Akatsuki organization. After going around in a circle, Deidara actually stood on the side of Konoha 08 White Fang and Kakashi, which is near the second and third Hokage. White Fang asked his son quietly, "Are the relations between the major countries so good now? Even the rebel ninja came to Konoha? Don't we need to defend ourselves?" This simply subverted Hatake Sakomo's outlook on life. After all, when he left, it was still the era of the Second Ninja War, with wars and iron-blooded ninja rules. In his mind, it was simply unimaginable, and he didn't even know how to understand such a chaotic situation. Kakashi didn't know how to explain. Probably, the image has changed a lot of things. Although it is still the Second Ninja War in Dad's memory, the image has already shown us the future. The Fourth Ninja War, so many things were. After thinking about it, Kakashi applied the story of the ninja world to Mr. Jiraiya's work and used a very appropriate word. Spoilers. Spoiler. When everyone looks at the video, isn't it just a spoiler? The Akatsuki organization hasn't even started to capture the tailed beasts yet, and their internal strife has already been revealed. In the image, the angry Konan was surrounded by flying pieces of paper, making noises in the wind and rain. She was angry because she heard what Uchiha Madara said. That Uchiha Madara actually said that he gave Rinnegan to Nagato. Konan shouted angrily. Rinnegan is the mayor of Rain Shinobi Village. Nagato obtained it after opening his eyes. It has nothing to do with you at all. While watching the movie, Konan in pain, as well as everyone else watching the movie in Konohagakure, suddenly remembered the words of Second Hokage just before will the next Uzumaki possess Uchiha's Rinnegan. Originally, they didn't believe this. Just think of it as Second Hokage's way of sowing discord and causing internal strife. However, the words of Uchiha Madara in the video seem to prove that second Hokage's words are not lies. After the masked man, Pain also yelled the same words to second generation. "What the hell do you know? Ask me. Why don't you just watch it yourself?" Senju Tobarama stared at the image and did not give them a direct answer. In the image, the sacred paper around Konan is controlled by her. Each piece of paper turns into a shuriken, and Konan himself is like a person with hundreds of thousands of papers gathered on his body. "Put it through, White Fang. What kind of ninjutsu is this? I have never seen it before. As for the time and space ninjutsu, what does this person have to do with Namikaze Minato?" "No," Kakashi reflexively told his father. "He has nothing to do with Mr. Minato." White Fang thought he knew his son well, so he raised his eyebrows suspiciously and said nothing. Kakashi. Namikaze Minato, who was present, also saw something strange about Kakashi. This sense of deja vu that he would rather deceive senior White Fang than reveal the truth. "Kakashi, what are you planning?" Fourth Hokage had a vague premonition, and his intuition told him that it was not a good thing that Kakashi received the reward just now. "How on earth are you going to use that ninjutsu scroll that could destroy Konoha with one strike?" Kakashi. At this break, Konan and the masked man in the video have already had a battle. The masked man stopped and said, "I'd better correct a few problems for you first. First, Akatsuki was established under my promotion and does not belong to you. I am the real owner of Akatsuki." Both Konan and Nagato were completely stunned. At this time, even Nagato, Pain who was present, angrily shouted at the masked man, "This is impossible. Dawn was founded by Yahiko." It seems to confirm Nagato's doubts. The images gathered in front of Konoha Shinobi School suddenly changed. In the rainy jungle, members of the first-generation Akatsuki organization are running anxiously. They are eager to save people. "Kyusuk," Konan shouted as he looked at the image. This person was their companion, but he died a long time ago. The cause of death is unknown. In the video, Hadasuk is running around in the heavy rain. "Hurry up." Konoha's Umbu rushes to the meeting place between Yahiko and Sanshu. There must be something fishy in all this. Konoha named. Umbu was suddenly pulled in. Senju Tobarama knows without even thinking. It's not Umbu, it's Danzo's roots. Although neither Umbu nor Jin can escape Konoha's responsibility in this matter. In the war years, it's either you die or I live. The source of hatred cannot be traced back to just one or two things. If I have to say 173, his death and the deaths of countless Konoha shinobi in the First Ninja War may have pushed Danzo step by step to where he is now. Of course, no matter what the cause is, if the rotten roots are not removed as soon as possible, sooner or later it will affect the entire tree. The second Hokage and the people in Konoha thought so, while Nagato and Konan were even more surprised that Hadasuk had seen through the scam and wanted to bring someone to rescue them. Could it be that Kayasuk was intercepted and killed by Hans of the Salamander? But then, the video gave them an unexpected answer. What stood in front of Jayasuk and the members of the Yuan-Shao organization were Black-White Zetsu and Uchiha Madara. In the sadness and despair of Pain and Konan watching the movie, in the miserable cries of those former companions in the image in the video, Uchiha Madara, who is wearing a white Uzumaki mask and is about the size of a teenager, uses wood-style ninjutsu and summons many white monsters. Kill Juzuk and all the members of the Yuan-Shao organization. White Zetsu, wood-style, Uchiha Madara of teenage stature. The entire Konoha and Akatsuki organization were shocked by this information. Chapter 181 Truth Warning. Yahiko's death is letting go of love. Pain and Konan can't stand it anymore. But this is not the place to take action. Not because they cared that this place was Konohagakure, but to deal with Uchiha Madara. If there is no complete preparation, even Pain or Nagato will not have a 100% chance of winning. What's more, I said it before, even the Rinnegan they trust and regard as the treasure of Rain, Shinobi Village, or even the Land of Rain may be a step in Madara's plan. Looking at the video, I saw those like-minded companions of Shao who live together day and night. In order to escort information to them, one by one died, tragically under the chaotic wood-style wooden thorns like hell. Konan and Pain's anger was palpable. At the same time, because of this wood-style that was only seen on first Hokage, it once again caused an uproar in Konoha. It's indeed wood-style. Is the guy in the white Uzumaki mask in the video the masked man? Stop joking. How could Uchiha Madara use wood-style? Behind him, a steady voice said, yes, Uchiha Madara should be dead, and wood-style can only be used by first Hokage. A certain ninja who had come here to watch the movie a long time ago glanced at the guy who asked, how could Uchiha Madara use wood-style for the corner of his eye, and explained, didn't he use it just now? Oh, you haven't come just now. Two terrifying voices came out before, asking Kakashi and who killed the woman over there. Then the masked man came next to the woman. The man got into a fight, and he was using wood-style. Kakashi's eyes were even more fishy than usual. He wanted to stop the ninja, but the other party spoke too quickly, so the steady voice had a strange tone. Oh, kill Kakashi. My knife shouldn't be dull yet, right? Hatake White Fang put his hand on the handle of the white chakra short sword behind his back and squeezed it. Kakashi broke out in cold sweat. Then that trivia question asking, who killed Kakashi? Rather than the impact playing directly, he was killed by Pain. It made him feel as if he was being publicly executed right now. The newly resurrected relative heard that he had been killed, which resulted in internal strife among the enemy. What is this? Standing behind Uzumaki Naruto, another father, Namikaze Minato looked at the image and thought about the three states of the masked man. In the video, when the masked man is wearing a white Uzumaki mask, he looks the smallest, probably only 15 or 16 years old, maybe even younger. Then during the Nine Tails Rebellion, when he appeared wearing an orange Tiger Madara mask, he was a little taller than he looked in the video, and his shoulders were also slightly wider. Now wearing the orange Uzumaki mask, he is already the size of an adult man. Although he didn't want to admit it and didn't dare to admit it, Namikaze Minato's reason overcame all this, and he was still able to come to a conclusion in the end. The growth of the masked man and Uchiha Obito in each time period coincides with that of Uchiha Obito, who was supposed to be dead. Konan, another person said, if Hadasuk had arrived in time, would Yahiko be alive? Nagato. Konan looked worried. She knew Nagato too well. Nagato must have placed all the blame on himself. In the video, the white Uzumaki-like masked man who killed everyone leaves. The corpses all over the ground brought an end to the organization that had been the first generation of Akatsuki, the organization that had been filled with the dreams of Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan for many years. The new generation of Akatsuki was established under the promotion of the masked man, and the uniform was changed to a red cloud cloak with a black background. Pain said solemnly, answer me a question, Madara. Masked man. Pain, why did you kill Yahiko? Don't make a mistake. It's Hanzo from the land of rain and Danzo from the land of fire who have to kill Yahiko. The masked man said, however, if he doesn't die, it will really hinder me because that guy is too alert. Speaking of which, you can understand that I am not as easy to use as you. Pain was silent, faced with such a despicable answer. He was speechless for a moment. Just a voice exactly like his came from a distance, helping him to win the game. When it comes to being easy to take advantage of, you and Uchiha Madara are completely unqualified to talk about others. If second Hokage hadn't known the information he needed, neither Obito nor Madara could have restrained their temper. Others, especially Pain and Konan, as well as Kakashi, Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Sasuke, and others, all got an important piece of information. That is, the masked man is definitely not Uchiha Madara. In the video, that moment has finally arrived. Akatsuki, who originally said she was going to have a good talk with Hanzo and rely on the power of language and trust to achieve peace, faced a choice similar to that of Hatake White Fang. Even more cruel. Hanzo in the video said, I still can't trust you. Why not kill the opponent with a Bumi right in front of you? This little girl, Kyoko, is going to die in 10 ways. Nagato. Yahiko. Konan struggled desperately in the hands of Hans of the Salamander. People around the world who saw this scene were shocked. Of course, no one in Konoha would sympathize with their enemies, but they would secretly scold Hans of the Salamander for being despicable. It was true that Danzo was plotting secretly. The people of Rain Shinobi Village saw that their village chief and Lord Angel had experienced this before, and they all prayed in pain, praying to be like the previous image of Uzumaki Naruto. A miracle happened. They saw the red-haired Nagato bent down to pick up the kunai, but when he turned around with a horrified expression and wanted to ask for help from Yahiko, the leader of the Akatsuki, in an instant, the world turned pale in the eyes of the three people. Yahiko bumped into the kunai in Nagato's hand. This scene was so similar that Kakashi felt his right hand go numb, the same way Raikiri's flashing hand pierced Lin's chest. Chūnin and Nagato were even more painful and wanted to look away. But right now, there was actually a scene in the video that they didn't know about or hadn't thought about much. In the image, the warm wooden house blocked the cold rain outside the window, and Chūnin was dressing Yahiko's wounds. When she was a girl, Chūnin was even more lonely than she is now, and Yahiko was no longer pain, but an outstanding young man full of dreams and leadership abilities. In the worried eyes of the girl, the ignorant love of the adolescent boy brought the two closer to each other. Outside the house, the red-haired boy who was soaked in the rain smiled with sincere blessings to the two of them. Not knowing why, and not being able to tell that Yahiko and Pain were two different people, and looking at the two hostile bosses that suddenly descended on their village with strange expressions on their faces, the video suddenly switched again. That was outside the wooden house in the previous image. The red-haired boy Nagato cowered in fear of his own power. As the only girl among the three, Chūnin found Nagato and comforted him, let him resolve the knot in his heart. Then, almost unsurprisingly, a scene that often appears in Konoha's traditional team mode of 2 men and 1 woman also appeared on them. Nagato suddenly grabbed Chūnin's hand. Even heavy rain cannot stop the warmth of family, friendship, and love intertwined here. Watching the movie, Chūnin and Nagato's chests felt their hearts shrink suddenly. Because in the image, Yahiko is leaning against a tree not far away. So he obviously saw this scene. Nagato, Yahiko, I don't know whether it was fear or guilt or some other emotion, but Nagato was instantly filled with it. There is also a third brief memory, reminding the 3 people of that period. Yahiko found Chūnin and told him that his power was limited after all, and Nagato, with the Rinnegan, was more suitable to become the leader of Akatsuki. In the video, Yahiko's back is turned to Chūnin, and even now, Chūnin, who is watching the movie here, realizes that Yahiko's eyes at that time also had the same helplessness and unwillingness. This 3-person team, with mutual trust and competition, was the first team model designed by second Hokage. Apart from war and death, it is the team model that can best develop the potential of young ninjas. Although Nagato arrived later and led other Akatsuki members, the leader of the determined organization was none other than Yahiko, but the so-called inner demon is always entangled by himself. The image returns again to the moment when Yahiko bumped into Nagato's kunai. Blood overflowed from the corners of Yahiko's mouth, and a smile of relief and blessing appeared on his tired face. Nagato, no matter what, you and Chūnin must survive. The moment Yahiko slipped from Nagato's shoulder and fell to the ground, none of them heard a word, but Yahiko's heartfelt voice came out from the video. You too want to be happy. Yahiko, Pain, and Chūnin, who were watching the movie, read the names of their companions in unison. Yahiko. In the image, the girl screams in pain. After that, there will only be the new Akatsuki and Nagato in the dark with black chakra rods inserted into his body. The spokesperson of Akatsuki, Lord Angel Chūnin, made from Yahiko's corpse tend to pain. This guy, someone said in shock. Is it actually a corpse? All the pain and the previous influence were corpses. No wonder I couldn't hit immune to death, because they were already dead. Rinnegan is indeed an eye that can control life and death. As the teacher of the 3 of them, Jiraiya looked at the image and finally knew what happened to the latter disciple. Chūnin, Nagato. Jiraiya, didn't know how to comfort these two disciples. But Yahiko's last words were, "Did you misunderstand Yahiko's last instructions?" Konan and Nagato were obviously still surprised. Konan was far away at the time and did not hear these words. The moment Nagato killed Yahiko, he was stunned and didn't even notice what Yahiko said. And Konan, "Let's live." Pain, who was controlled by Nagato, murmured to himself. And Konan was also shocked by the fragments in the image. In Konoha, the experienced ninja said in a funny way, "I also encountered this problem back then. So Mr. Second Hokage, your combination of 2 men and 1 woman is really cunning. My brother and I fell in love with the same girl. I also did the one that quit." Second Hokage curled his lips, ignoring these little brats who enjoyed the convenience and behaved well. Aside from other things, it's a way of letting go of oneself and a blessing to a close friend. A certain rebellious ninja brat commented. Then a stone flew towards him. "What do you know, you brat?" Onoki shouted at his former disciple. At this time, someone suddenly shouted, "Hey, look, how come the image turned into sand shinobi village?" In the image, there's a vast sea of sand. Chisha saw a boy who looked exactly like him. Scorpion. It can't be wrong. That's his son, Scorpion. Chapter 182, The Correct Method of Operating the 600 Billion Detonating Talisman. The human puppet of 3rd Kazekage falls to the ground. Although we know that Konan's ninjutsu is related to the sacred paper, there is no description in the video of how to defeat Scorpion and his 3rd Kazekage puppet. TSK, I missed the intelligence opportunity. It was the intelligence department of each village with a strong sense of mission. In the image, there's only a girl with a cold face. One after another powerful enemies fall in front of her, and people like Scorpion and Haiden are forcibly absorbed into Akatsuki. "Then you should join Akatsuki," Konan said bluntly in the face of a murderous maniac like Haiden. Because Akatsuki is a killing group that can do anything, such as assassination, victory, etc., in front of moviegoers around the world. A peace-loving and peaceful civil society organization has turned into a killing group that only recruits S-class rebellious ninjas. This is simply putting the cart before the horse. Naruto felt pain in his heart. Compared to Akatsuki's actions, he was more troubled by the fact that Nagato and Konan misunderstood Yahiko's intentions. "But," you said, "it's really strong." Originally, the woman had been hidden under Pain's 6 clones, and she looked ordinary and not powerful at all. As a result, in this image, although it is not very specific, there are paper shurikens, paper clones, detonating talisman paper clones. She fought against the Aburame clan, Shino's father, and others on her own to achieve Tai. She also forcibly absorbed the powerful rebellious ninjas from each village into the Akatsuki organization. "It's really strong," Jiraiya recalled. "Of my 3 disciples in Rain Shinobi Village, Konan is far more considerate than the other 2 boys." Jiraiya's eyes were sharp. If Yahiko is gentle covered by sadness, then Konan is silent support. The memory ends, and we return to the battle scene between the Akatsuki and the 2. In the video, Konan, who has let everyone see her strength, rushes towards Uchiha Madara again. Her sacred paper turns into huge wings, like a warrior approaching the opponent under the cover of countless paper shurikens. Little girl, don't underestimate Uchiha's Sharingan. A large amount of sacred paper passes through the body of Uchiha Madara, as if the person standing here is just in phantom. However, the moment Konan approached, Uchiha Madara turned into an entity again, and the sacred papers surrounding him, ready to attack at any time, were sucked by him like the 430 Uzumaki in his right eye. Hatake Sakomo. Is it Uchiha's pupil power? Although I have never seen Uchiha Madara himself, I have seen a lot of Uchiha's pupil power. This should be the ability of Manjiki Sharingan. This kind of ninjutsu of time and space is really incredible. He analyzed, "I guess there's an alien space in his right. Everything will be absorbed into this space by him. Even the so-called hollow may be an act of placing part of one's body in space." Kakashi was stunned for a moment when he heard his father's analysis, but did not respond. Uchiha Obito thought to himself, "It is indeed the white fang of Konoha. I only saw it once, but can I even analyze this layer?" Senju Tobarama suddenly praised, "What a smart little girl. Those are not just ordinary blank sheets of paper." Niji also said, "It's a detonating talisman. There are a lot of detonating talismans mixed into the white paper." The detonating talisman was controlled by Konin chakra and was ignited and detonated while being inhaled by Uchiha Madara. "I will take you to hell. I am living in hell." There were two voices. The former belonged to Konin, and the latter was the voice that said he wanted to destroy the world. Sure enough, that was not the masked man's accomplice, but another layer of his identity. White light covers the entire image. When everything returned to calm, the patter of rain stirred up countless ripples on the sea, including incompletely burned white paper, broken Akatsuki robes, and broken mask remains. When do you die? Death together? Two enemies died together. That's great. No, that's just in the image. These two, no, three people are standing over there. Kakashi. Seeing the broken mask, Minato also stared at the image. Could it be you? Obito. Underestimate you too much. The masked man who lost half his arm and a third of his orange mask appears in the video again. That guy. He didn't even die like this. Minato noticed a detail. That is, just like many years ago ached this person's body. No, it should be said that at least the right arm is not a human body tissue. The arm that was severed by the bomb did not bleed. Opposite the masked man, the woman from Akatsuki is also alive, with only a quarter of her body left, and pieces of paper flying around her. That woman is alive too. Is she a human or paper? It's okay like this, but she looks very embarrassed. The paper around the woman gradually increased, reshaping her body. Nagato, who knows Konin well, knows that the Konin in the image is different from the Konin around him. That Konin lost Yahiko, died himself, and killed Jiraiya Sensei, leaving Konin alone. This is her last battle. In the image, Konin was waiting for the Uchiha Madara opposite and said those words that made him extremely angry. The words that made him want to drag Uzumaki Naruto into the darkness. No matter what, during the Fourth Ninja World War, you are the darkness. In a world without light, flowers cannot bloom. Immediately afterwards, the seawater parted under the masked man's feet. What is that? People in major movie theaters around the world were shocked. The sea of feature films are actually all fake. It's paper. Look, the whole sea is a fake sea made of paper. In the image, the entire sea is divided into two. The huge crack is like the call of the abyss of hell, and the floating paper in the air is like the funeral coins. Countless pieces of paper fall from the cracks like waterfalls. Masked man, Deidara, hey, Faye, Kakashi. The masked man in the image lost his ability to stand on the sea surface and fell into the gaping crack of the abyss. He wanted to use the pupil technique to absorb all those bodies of his into the Kamui space. But Konin saw through it and used her unique ninjutsu, manipulating the detonating charms to paste them all over Uchiha Madara's body. The detonating symbol begins to detonate. As a last resort, he can only use the ability of penetration to transfer his body to another space, thereby completing Hollow. The pieces originally attached to him passed through his body and then detonated. Next is an important moment for the intelligence departments of each village to get a small notebook and record the weaknesses of the masked man. It seems that your time and space movement failed. Konin, it's not in vain to stay by your side all this time. Uchiha Obito glanced at Konin. It seems you have never believed me. Pain, Konin. Konin said nothing, acquiescing. Konin in the video tells the important information about the masked man technique one by one. Kakashi listened very carefully. You said that when you inhale the vortex in your right eye, your body needs to materialize first, Konin said, and it is slower than absorbing things other than yourself. Due to gravity, the masked man landed at a fast speed, and he didn't know when the paper sea abyss would end. Those with good eyes, such as Hyuga and Uchiha, have already discovered the details of the image first. Wait a minute. That sea of paper, is not ordinary paper. What's the meaning? Kakuzu, who is watching the movie from a distance. That guy Conan. Haydn. What's wrong? Doesn't she always use paper? That's not paper. That is, there are sharp-eyed ninjas in every village, and they all say in unison almost all over the world. It's a detonating talisman. What? After being reminded, everyone looked carefully and found out. Some people even lost their center of gravity and sat back and fell to the ground. It's a detonating talisman. It's all detonating talismans. How many detonating symbols are there in that sea? Oh my God! Deidara commented with excited eyes. This trick is too artistic. Yeah, make that stupid A-Fei disappear in an instant. Yeah, stupid A-Fei. Conan. Pain. Art is the beauty of a moment. Deidara crazily proclaimed his views on art. He hugged himself and fell into intoxication. A sea is full of detonating symbols. This idea is so wonderful. Next time I also want to try hoarding a piece of clay from the sea. Deidara-senpai, sooner or later you'll be blown up by yourself. The personality switch is completed in half a second, and the connection has no sense of disharmony. He is a man who is neither Maskar / Uchiha Madara / Uchiha Obito / Afei. In the world cinema area, some people are shocked, some are horrified, and some are distressed. Conan, you can penetrate matter. That is, the hollow time is about 5 minutes. The masked man falling rapidly in the video also discovered the detonating talisman mixed in the piece of paper. No, it's not a mixture. It's the whole sea that is a detonating talisman. The dense, detonating symbols in the image make people numb. When more people learned that the entire sea was filled with detonating symbols, movie theaters all over the world seemed to explode due to this operation. Detonating symbols. All detonating symbols. It's so scary. With such an explosion, there must not be a tsunami in Rain Shinobi Village. Who knows? She might be crazy. That's right. How much does this cost? Our village's total consumption in 3 or even 5 years can't use this much, right? Yes, Shao is really a terrifying organization. What kind of financial resources does it have? Kakuzu sneezed. The people of Rain Shinobi Village were shocked by the way Angel Sama died together. Lord Angel. No, please. Lord Angel. Damn it, that damn masked man. Isn't it enough for us in Rain Shinobi Village? Lord Angel. Some people even knelt down in the rain and prayed for a miracle. Kakuzu, who is on a mission in the country of you, feels a dull pain in his heart. How many detonating charms are they? How much money can he make by selling them? Haydn, after converting the mission goal into money, go to Konoha. I don't have any objections, but wouldn't you be willing to go if there is no money to be made? Of course, if I can attract more believers to join my great evil god cult, I will shut up. In the video, the masked man is buried in the ocean of detonating symbols, because this is just the internal struggle of the villains. Unlike the previous influence, which is related to the fate of the world, even though the video is so tense that the village ninjas watching the movie are also everyone can gnaw on the melon and watch it happily. At this time, in the eyes of the masked man, Conan's face looked like a ghost looking for his life. She said, "In order to kill you, I have prepared 600 billion detonating talismans, which can explode continuously for more than 10 minutes. There is no chance of you surviving. Madara, 6,600 billion detonating talisman." Conan, pain. Everyone in Konoha was shocked. Isn't this the quiz reward that the masked man just got? Naruto clapped his fingers. 6 plus 6 equals 11. No, it's 12. Doesn't that masked man possess 1.2 billion detonating talismans? Little Sakura. It's 1,200 billion. Idiot. Shikamaru was speechless. That's not how it was calculated. Little Sakura reacted. It's all idiot Naruto who led me astray. The masked man stared at the image. What a big crisis. I didn't expect that the 600 billion detonating talisman was actually prepared by you to kill me. Conan. What? He changed his tone. I was right about what I said in the image. You underestimated Uchiha's eye power. When Itachi saw the masked man in the video opening the left mask, revealing the scarlet Sharingan with his left eye. He immediately understood. Izanagi. 17 Izanagi. It's the Hitomi who uses the time difference to avoid any mistakes. When Kakashi saw the Sharingan in the left eye of the masked man, his body unconsciously leaned forward. There's a Sharingan on the left too? He touched his left eye and suddenly hesitated. Who is this person? Chapter 183. Watch the movie Conan is Killed. Mount Maiboku's New Prophecy. The violent explosion lasted for more than 10 minutes. Conan in the image fell on the sea, and even the magic paper technique was untied, and even the purple flower on his head was scattered on the sea. Soaked by seawater, Conan. Nagato couldn't bear to see Conan like this. Madara should have been. Conan's vision was blurred. She finally did it, Lord Angel. The people of Rain Shinobi Village saw that the enemy was killed, but the angel was still alive, and they all thanked God for mercy. But the next scene in the video made them scream silently in surprise. Do you think I'm dead? The masked man is still alive. He appears alive behind Conan. Behind me, Nagato was concentrating on the image and wanted to remind Conan in the image. But it doesn't help in the end. Madara in the video is holding a black chakra rod and piercing Conan's body from behind. Because the paper god technique has been lifted, that is Conan's true body, and you can see blood dripping from the chakra rod that penetrated her in the image. At this time, Pain looked at the masked man with an unusually fierce look. In contrast, Conan is more concerned about the information in the image. If this can't kill him, it seems that she still needs more information to reconnect with the way to kill Madara. Why? You're still alive. Conan's voice was painful and broken. Izanagi is a special power that can connect illusion and reality in exchange for losing light. It is the forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan. It is a pupil technique that requires the power of both Uchiha and Senju clans to be used. Uchiha and Senju, someone immediately reacted. Then how did Danzo use this power before? Scary to think about. Let's go to another world and regret it together. The masked man said angrily. It's all your fault for easily believing Uzumaki Naruto's nonsense. Naruto stared hard at the masked man not far away. That's the guy. It was he who killed his parents. He also deceived the former Akatsuki organization, who wanted to work hard to achieve peace. I will definitely defeat someone like you. Someone like you. Naruto shouted at the masked man. But his current strength is really not good enough. Naruto began to resent himself for being so weak and powerless. Konoha Genin, who was like him, had seen the kind of battle in the video that was completely different from theirs, and the motivation to become stronger was surging in his heart. There is no peace in this world. The masked man in the image said, there is no hope. Nagato believed that Naruto was just here to comfort his poor self. He continued, huh? The rain will never stop raining, but it stopped raining in Shinobi Village? How on earth did you get back to the group? Conan, Yahiko, Nagato. Their love will never disappear, and it's different from before. I also believe in Naruto. This time it is his turn to be the bridge to peace. In order to support him, I will become the pillar of this bridge. Little Sakura heard the word Naruto and bridge and murmured to herself. Naruto Bridge in a land of waves. If their world were a story, it would seem that their generation had the opportunity to lead to peace from the very beginning, from the moment they were born. The predecessors of the previous era are still using their lives, beliefs, and lives to pave the way for peace in this era. In the video, there's a fierce final struggle between the masked man who lost an arm and an eye in the explosion, and Conan, who had almost exhausted his chakra and was stabbed through the abdomen. Even in this dying situation, the battle is still magnificent and arouses a raging tsunami. Madara strangled Conan's neck and said angrily, "You call me darkness, right? Then I'll make you wither." Conan can no longer struggle. Conan, who was strangled to death, slowly closed his eyes. After the rain, the sky cleared up, and the rainbow in front of her eyes was like telling him that the bridge she was looking forward to would one day be built. I thought the image would end like this. Nagato was in so much pain that he couldn't bear to look at the image anymore. He is willing to dedicate his life to Yahiko's ideal, hide in the darkness, taste the pain, and convey this pain to the world. But he wasn't willing to watch Conan die for it. Conan's body floated on the sea, and a piece of white paper soaked in her blood accepted her last wish. Red confetti is floating across the rainbow, returned to their original place. Jiraiya suddenly choked up in his throat. This is it, seeing his disciples die one by one in front of his eyes. Even after experiencing the second and third ninja wars, it was impossible for him not to feel pain. Rose Immortal, where is this place? Naruto asked. This is the place where I used to stay in the country of rain to atone for my sins and teach the three of them how to protect themselves. Jiraiya misses that time. No matter how cloudy or rainy the weather is outside, the house is always warm and smells like home. The three children each have their own characteristics. Yahiko is straightforward and has a leadership style. Nagato is powerful but timid and gentle, and Conan, as a girl, has the ability to be as strong as a boy. Coordinating the relationship between Nagato and Yahiko, I really miss it. If he could have returned to the Kingdom of Rain a few more times to see how these three disciples were doing, there might not have been the future in the image. He watched the red piece of paper in the image fly home instead of Conan. I heard Yahiko's voice coming from the video. We start from here for our dreams. Then, when our dreams come true, even if we go our separate ways in the future, I will come back here one day. I saw 3 signs representing Nagato, Yahiko, and Conan. Maybe others don't understand what this means. But Jiraiya suddenly felt like he couldn't hold his emotions any longer. Jiraiya-sensei, Conan called softly. Looking at the image, Jiraiya seemed to have returned to that time. Jiraiya told them to use frog cards to report whether they and others were safe. He seemed to hear the laughter of 3 more people in his ears. The same goes for Nagato. Watching the image through Pain's eyes in the image, the red piece of paper soaked in Conan's blood flew to the only one of the 3 frog tiles that had not been turned over, Conan's frog tile. The red piece of paper is attached to Conan's frog sign. Amid the uproar among the moviegoers, what does this mean? 3 red signs. Jiraiya felt sour in her heart. Welcome home, Conan. When Naruto heard the heroic sage say this, the image finally ended. Jiraiya took the initiative to approach Pain and Conan, who were local forces. I think we can have a chat, right? Jiraiya-sama. Some ninjas immediately disagreed. They're the enemies that destroy Konoha. Jiraiya glared at the speaking ninja with sharp eyes. They haven't destroyed Konoha yet. That's just a future possibility in the image. He looked at Conan. Tell me about Yahiko's matter, and he looked at the masked man over there. This guy's matter. For this man, Jiraiya can't say he doesn't hate him. Whether it was Yahiko or Minato, his outstanding disciples all died due to his push. I even heard that the genocide of Uchiha was also attributed to this person. In the future images, Nagato and Conan are constantly used. Even Rinnegan is put in the eyes of Nagato, who is Uzumaki. When Jiraiya was thinking this, there was another woman who also wanted to talk to Nagato eagerly. That person is of course Nagato's mother Fuso. But in this case, without Hokage's approval, Umbu and other guards would definitely not relax their vigilance. Even the newly resurrected Konoha's White Fang tightened his muscles and was ready to attack at any time after knowing that the other party would kill his son in the future. Seeing that the image of Danzo has not yet arrived, Senju Tobarama agreed to the petition of the master and the disciples to come here to talk. It's getting late, Onoki said. Can the second Hokage prepare to start the 5 Shadows conference? I'm getting old, so I still need to pay more attention to rest. It was rare that second Hokage was younger than himself, and Onoki showed off his style. I'm sorry, my eyes. You are still the stupid kid who was scared by Uchiha Madara and couldn't walk. Senju Tobarama retorted mercilessly. He is not the elder brother, so he will not treat anyone outside Konoha. People are polite. Okay, Senju Tobarama said, looking at the shrunken third Tsuchikage. Come to the Hokage building with me. Don't waste time. The 5 Kage talks can begin. In addition, he has arranged for Uzumaki Mido and the Yamanaka clan to explore where Danzo is hiding. By then, there are still 2 days before the Red Sand Scorpion and Deidara arrive in Konoha. There are still 4 days until Kakuzu and Haiden arrive in Konoha. The crowd gradually dispersed in front of the Konoha Shinobi School. The leader of the Akatsuki stage went to have a heart-to-heart talk with Jiraiya, one of the Konoha Sannin, while the real leader of the Akatsuki went to the 5 Kage talks with the guarantee of second Hokage. What on earth is going on? Deidara, who was resurrected as dirt, was left in a daze at the gate of Konoha Shinobi School. Several Umbu surrounded him. He wanted to perform an art, but his hands were sealed by a red-haired elder sister. Deidara has never been so frustrated. I was so angry that I cursed Uchiha Sasuke. He also suffered multiple bullets from Naruto's shadow clone and fists from Haruno Sakura. On the other side, Jiraiya left shortly after Pain, Konin, and Fuso. The toad from Mount Maiboku actually used the reverse summoning technique to summon Jiraiya's entire body. Suddenly appearing at Mount Maiboku, Jiraiya looked around in confusion. "What are you doing, Fukasaku-sama? Send me back quickly. I'm anxious to talk to my disciple." He not only knows about Nagato and the others over the years, but also needs to know more about the masked man, Uchiha Madara. He killed Minato and Yahiko. There's no way he can forgive so easily. "Don't be anxious, little Jiraiya." Master Fukasaku jumped in front of Jiraiya. "The great Toad Sage has made a new prophecy, and it is still about your disciples." His disciple? Nagato? Konin? Or Naruto? However, the answer Mr. Shinzawa gave him was not. Minato. Didn't Minato long ago? Jiraiya was shocked. He had no idea what other prophecies the Great Toad Sage would make. Fukasaku. Jiraiya should ask Great Toad Sage specifically. He seems to have 2 prophecies to tell you. 2 prophecies? Chapter 184, The Prophecy of the Great Toad Sage. Namake's Minato's resurrection and the savior who eliminates regrets frogs croaked one after another. The vegetation is lush, and there are a large number of giant drip lilies growing there. Dew hangs on the lotus leaves, and you can see toads lying on them to rest. Clear spring water is left on the bamboo-shaped earth mountain, which merges into a small river. The mouth of the toadstone sculpture continuously spits out toad oil, forming a small pool of toad oil. This is Mount Maiboku, together with Richie Cave and Shigulin. It has become the 3 major heritage sites. Jiraiya followed the jumping Fukasaku Sannin and walked towards the residence of the Great Toad Sage. So, Great Toad Sage dreamed of Minato. Jiraiya looked in disbelief. But Minato has been dead for many years, and Naruto is 12 years old. Fukasaku jumped up and down. "Not too slow, I don't know either. Wait until you meet the old man and let him tell you." Having said that, Jiraiya still couldn't help but be curious. Could it be the reanimation jutsu? That jutsu of the 2nd generation is actually very convenient. He sighed. If Minato hadn't used the Uzumaki clan's forbidden technique when sealing Nine Tails in the end to seal off all zombies, he could have asked the guy from 2nd generation to help resurrect the door for a while, so that they could father and son are reunited. Hey, this method can be used on that little girl Kushina. Naruto should be looking forward to meeting his 353 mother, right? Jiraiya felt that he was too smart and kept tapping his palms and nodding. Okay. Please wait until we get back and ask the old man from 3rd generation to say a good word to the guy from 2nd generation. But Jiraiya groped his chin and felt a little confused. After all, impure world reincarnation is not a real resurrection. Wouldn't it be more painful to have to say goodbye later? And this technique seems not to be used for this. Is it really good to summon the souls of the Pure Land back? When Jiraiya was struggling all the way, Lord Fukasaku finally took him to the residence of the Great Toad Sage. "The giant toad has lost its head. Are you looking for me?" "Great Toad Sage," Jiraiya asked eagerly. "I heard that you had a prophetic dream about my disciple Namake's Minato, right?" "Oh, you're here. You're here." Great Toad Sage was silent for a moment. "Are you Namake's Minato?" Jiraiya. Next to him, Fukasaku reminded, "Old Master, He is little Jiraiya, and Namake's Minato is his dead disciple. Great Toad Sage. Oh, who is the white hair? Fukasaku. It's Jiraiya. Oh, you have grown up, you are. I am Jiraiya. Jiraiya roared. Okay, don't worry about that. Daisen-sama, just tell me the prophecy about Minato. Oh, Namake's Minato. Great Toad Sage said, actually, I had two prophetic dreams this time, both about the blonde boy. It seems that they're all your disciples. Please tell me. The first one is about Namake's Minato, who will be attacked by a man living in hell. Then, he will be saved by a man crawling out of hell. What? Minato died 12 years ago. Jiraiya was confused. Master Great Toad Sage, can you make it more clear? In my dream, Namake's Minato will fight with a man wearing a black higan flower and a giant fox. The outcome of this battle was supposed to be Minato's death, but there was another. No, to be exact, it was two men who helped him. Jiraiya is even more confused. After all, Minato is dead. Could it be that someone released his soul from Shinigami? But why does it sound wrong? The giant fox should refer to Nine Tails. But who is the man with the black higan flower? Is there such a figure in the ninja world? But the point is, Jiraiya asked again, Great Toad Sage, what are the characteristics of the two men you said can help Minato? Do you mean they can help Minato be resurrected? Well, I guess. There was silence for several minutes. One with silver hair and one with a big fan. This is a test of Jiraiya's knowledge. There are a lot of silver hair. Who is the one holding the big fan? I can only forcefully remember the language in my mind and wait until I get back to Konoha to ask someone for information. Okay, what about your other prediction? Great Toad Sage recalled in an irritated tone. Another prophecy. A boy with black hair will come here, and your other disciple with blonde hair will teach him true peace, and then many regrets will not happen. Anyway, like every time, Jiraiya was confused. When he was sent back by Granny Shima, he still didn't understand the meaning of these two prophecies. But as far as the meaning of the Great Toad Sage is concerned, both prophecies are good directions, so don't worry too much. Just let nature take its course. At the same time, Jiraiya will pay close attention to the man with silver hair and a big fan. If Minato can be resurrected, Konoha and the entire ninja world will be a lot different. More than an hour has passed since Jiraiya was suddenly teleported to Mount Maiboku. Pain, Nagato, and Fuso, who were originally here, have all left. Seeing Jiraiya reappearing here, the blue-purple paper crane flew to Jiraiya and led him. Oh, Conan. Jiraiya smiled and followed the paper crane to where Nagato was hiding. Seeing my son in this state made my eyes filled with heartache. When the dead are resurrected, they will not remember the events of the Pure Land world. In her eyes, it was as if the son who was timid and weak yesterday suddenly turned into a vicissitudes of life. The skinny body and the pain on his body all made Fusong feel distressed. Conan thoughtfully let mother and son chat alone for a while, and she waited for teacher Jiraiya at the door of the sacred paper tree cave. On the other side, the five shadow talks began. The younger and more energetic second Hokage sat in the leading position, looking at a group of juniors, only Noki and Sarutobi Hiruzen, who were in their 70s and 80s and lamented the changes of the times. You are old, Anoki Hiruzen. His words did not mean to use his age, experience, or identity as a means of overpowering the situation, but rather he had seen information about several major villages in recent years, uncovering the controlled water kingdom Kirigakura side. The behavior of the Fire Kingdom and the Earth Kingdom each have the characteristics of the two shadows after they have aged. The monkey seeks stability and peace. The advantages are economic growth and improved people's livelihood index. The disadvantage is that it is not enough to deter other major countries and lacks backbone forces aged between 20 and 40 years old. Anoki is too focused on the interests of the village, has a short-sighted vision, and the pros and cons are very obvious. As for second Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, as a student, can understand it, but Anoki may not. You have become a young man, second Hokage. Stop talking nonsense. Uchiha Obito wore a mask and still participated in the Five Shadows conference as a masked man. But rather than participating, it was better to say that he was being watched by 5 villagers. Of course, this is Senju Tobarama's words. Otherwise, how could the other 4 village shadows let this number 1 villain in? Uchiha Obito is furious. Second Hokage, what do you know? Senju Tobarama. I know who you are, but I don't intend to reveal your identity yet. He said, I have a question for you to answer first. What? Obito narrowed his eyes dangerously. Is Black Zetsu really dead? Also, how many white Zetsu still exist? Obito still used Uchiha Madara's voice. You actually know Black Zetsu, White Zetsu? Yes, it is precisely because you and Madara were both deceived by Black Zetsu that I am not going to disclose your identity at this time. If you can repent like at that time, there may not be no remedy. Bang! Uchiha Obito's black-gloved fist hit the huge round wooden table. The wooden table followed with a bang. People in other villages immediately defended themselves, and the guards of the shadow all jumped out from behind the scenes. Come out and prepare to fight. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Senju Tobarama was the calmest one in the audience. He looked at the furious Uchiha Obito. You answer my question first. Is Black Zetsu really dead? I don't know. It's just that I haven't been able to contact that guy for a long time. Uchiha Obito said, one question after another. It's my turn to ask. He almost completely ignored the shadows of other villages, and the irritable fourth rakage veins pop out on my forehead. Okay, Senju Tobarama agreed. Isn't Black Zetsu someone's will? In his thoughts and perception, Black Zetsu is Uchiha Madara's will. Senju Tobarama guessed his thoughts. Black Zetsu is someone's consciousness. Because of this, I wonder if he is really dead. Because as far as I know, Black Zetsu is an immortal and immortal existence. He has lived for at least 1,000 years. Seeing Uchiha Obito's suddenly stiff body, he said, so do you think Black Zetsu could it be Uchiha Madara's will? Why should I believe you? It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. If this continues, the horror questions and answers and subsequent images will definitely give you the answer. Senju Tobarama looked around at the other people present. The main purpose of convening the 5 Kage Conference is to reveal Black Zetsu's information 5.1. But now the horror question and answer proposes that Black Zetsu is dead, and he poked Obito with the outside of his thumb. This guy has also confirmed that he cannot contact Black Zetsu. Then I can publish more comprehensive information about Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu's abilities are not very strong. It only has the Mayfly technique and the ability to possess other people and control their will. But since it can't be killed, it can only be sealed with planetary devastation-level sealing techniques. So, originally during the 5 Shadows meeting, I was only going to reveal part of the information to avoid alerting the enemy. Senju Tobarama said, it may be alarmist to say it. In the previous image, there was a woman with white hair and white eyes and a Sharingan. Do you still remember it? Killer Bee, who keeps recording his inspirations in a small notebook. Hachi is afraid of that woman, so he is so anxious. Naruto is so powerful that he can beat that woman. You be D an idiot. I'll translate it. Fourth Rakage said, according to the 8 tailed beast in Bai's body, the woman's name is Tsutsuki Kagaya, mother of Sage of 6 Paths. What? Chapter 185, The Gears of Fate begin to turn. 8 cards are back online. At this time, Konoha, because they had seen the future in the video, many Genin and those ninjas from each village who had seen the 4th Ninja War and felt powerless for their own weakness had strengthened their training plans. The strongest Genin class in the future, the 3 Genin from Konoha's Kakashi class, also found their way and began training in full swing. As the only one in the future who is not a Genin, Haruno Sakura begins to learn medical ninjutsu and precise chakra control with the help of second Hokage. When Sasuke went back, Shisui and Itachi opened the Sharingan stove. Because Jiraiya went to find Pain's body, Nagato, Naruto lacked a teacher and could only continue to practice on his own for the time being. He thought of the reward he received from teacher Kakashi, the little toad who had successfully signed the summoning contract with him. Haisu Yushinwei summoning technique. Bang! After the smoke, a little green toad was summoning out. Thinking that the other party was the prize of the horror quiz, Naruto chuckled. I fantasize about the great strength of this toad. There's almost a scene where the little toad opens its mouth and spits out wind style, fire style, water style, lightning style, and earth style all at once, beating Uchiha Sasuke until he admits defeat and begs for mercy. Just give me a reward worth hundreds of billions of detonating talisman. Little toad, tell me what your power is. Can you spit oil bombs from your mouth like the boss toad? Or fire style can do it? No, water style is the best. It can defeat the BD Sasuke's fire style. Sure enough, it is still the best. You need water style. It's a pity that he talked for a long time. The little toad was actually just carrying the green umbrella leaf hat. Cack, said, and he just jumped away. BLEJ gone. Naruto reacted and quickly followed. Hey, come back. After that, the whole village saw countless Uzumaki Naruto jumping up and down in every corner of Konoha in order to find his toad. What are you doing? Naruto, listening to the lazy voice behind you. You don't have to look back to know that it's their bad mentor Genin. Stuck. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto turned around stiffly and saw Kakashi and Tsukumo. Oh, what a coincidence. Is Kakashi-sensei taking a walk? Kakashi, you haven't answered me yet. Why are you having hundreds of shadow clones jumping up and down in the village? Aha, I'm practicing. Naruto said casually. I can't practice as fast as 100 of me. Right, Kakashi-sensei? Although the statement is ridiculous, he can't say that the teacher gave him, did you lose the summoning toad? Sure enough. This reason is too ridiculous. Teacher Kakashi and Konoha's white fang next to him both looked solemn. In his heart, Naruto was already holding his head, shrinking and roaring. But what he didn't expect was Kakashi and his father Konoha's white fang actually spoke out at the same time, approving this way of practice. This method seems feasible, but the risk is a bit high. Naruto looked at Kakashi and Kakashi's father blankly. Kakashi explained to his father, for others, this method of cultivation is indeed risky, but for Naruto, there is no need to worry. Although Naruto is not a redhead, he still has a master as the Uzumaki clan's huge chakra area. In addition, Naruto's body is supported by the chakra of 9 tails, the strongest tailed beast, let alone 100. Even more would be no problem. If it's too complicated, Naruto can't understand it, but it can be divided into more shadow clone, and training together is actually accepted, which surprises Naruto. Kakashi looked at him and didn't understand, and explained, shadow clone itself is a ninjutsu that divides the entity and consciousness into several equal parts. If you divide 100 shadow clone, you are equivalent to using 100 of yourself to practice. Konoha's white fang, who also uses shadow clone, explained, when a shadow clone is released, their experience, muscle memory, and consciousness will return to your body with each shadow clone and become yours. But Hatake Tsukumo suddenly darkened his face. If you divide 100 shadow clone, when the training is over, the shadow clone returns to your body, it will be equivalent to 1,000 times the fatigue. Kakashi smiled and threatened Naruto. That's right. That means if you don't control it carefully, you may be exhausted to death, Naruto. Little Naruto, who actually cherished his life, was immediately frightened to the point of beating his teeth. Death. You won't die, stupid kid. Naruto suddenly found that he was standing opposite 2 big foxes. One who looked more kind and talking to him, and the other who was more vicious was sleeping on his stomach and deliberately turned his face away not to see him. Of course, the 2 Nine-Tails could also see the image Naruto saw. When young Nine-Tails saw that he in the future had finally overcome Naruto's reason and was about to break through the seal. There is actually a Namake's Minato who is causing trouble. Then once back to the early stage of sealing. The big dark gold cage is brand new. I suddenly felt that I couldn't escape this great cause. It's better to find a way to expand the capacity of the current small and broken cage. It's really uncomfortable to have another person rub your fur all day long. Naruto reasoned with the fox inside through the cage. Hey, I'm talking to Mr. Kakashi. Why did you suddenly call me here? Stinky fox. What? Kurama was not happy. Ever since he and Naruto became partners in the fourth battle, during the intercommunication entailed beast gatherings, wouldn't Naruto have to be kind to ask for Chakra's help? Then it's okay, go away. I wanted to tell that brat in advance that he could use his chakra shadow clone to practice with thousands of people without any problem. The suddenly unhappy Uncle Fox poked Naruto in the forehead, knocking Naruto out of his mental space. Hey, what are you doing, UBD? Naruto, who came out of his deep psychology, cursed Kakashi and Hatake Tsukumo. What's wrong, Naruto? The big fox suddenly called me in, and then suddenly got angry and popped me out. Kakashi immediately understood that the fox Naruto was talking about was Nine Tails, and asked with a gleaming look, "It just popped you out without saying anything?" Naruto thought for a moment and imitated Kurama's tone. "You won't die, brat, what?" "Then it's okay, just get out." Then in the incomprehensible expressions of the two people across from him, Naruto complained. "Shouldn't we just call him a stinky fox? So stingy. If I hadn't brought a paint bucket, I would have helped him decorate that broken place. It's written all over Uzumaki Master Naruto is here for a visit." "No, you better not do that, Naruto." Based on what he heard, Kakashi, with his extraordinary ability to guess Naruto's language, could basically tell that, although he didn't know the reason, the Nine Tails in Naruto's body should probably want to help Naruto practice. Speaking of, at this time, Father Hatake, who was next to Kakashi, suddenly bent down and rubbed Naruto's head. "Are you Kakashi's student?" After receiving Naruto's reply, Hatake Tsukumo suddenly sighed. "I never expected that my boy not only became a disciple of the fourth Hokage, but also became his son's Genin instructor." After 20 years passed, Hatake Tsukumo felt a little emotional. He even said something to Naruto, thanking them for becoming Kakashi's students and helping Kakashi get out of the shadows. Naruto was confused. "Well, it's nothing." Tsukumo suddenly remembered what Kakashi told him about Naruto almost resurrecting his father, but chose to resurrect his teammate's mother instead. Although Naruto didn't know that the fourth Hokage was his father at that time, this kind of companionship has always been advocated by Tsukumo. And I heard that Naruto also got a sword of his own during that quiz, and he immediately decided, "I heard that you got a chakra knife. If you're interested, bring it to me later, and I can teach you some knife skills. Isn't this appropriate, Tsukumo-senpai?" Naruto didn't understand, but Namake's Minato understood that the Hatake family swordsmanship was equal to the secret skills of other major families and was generally not spread to others. But then Minato could also think of Kakashi. Maybe he won't use the knife again, at least not until he completely unties the knot in his heart. It's understandable that Tsukumo-senpai wants to find a few inheritors for his sword skills. Understanding the intention and the preciousness of the Hatake family's swordsmanship, even though no one could see or hear it, Namake's Minato still bowed and thanked her seriously. "It's just 327, just mention this." Naruto then remembered that he had lost the summoning toad that Mr. Kakashi had given him, but the sage who taught him the summoning technique was not there either. He quickly said hello, and said he was looking for something and left first. After passing by Sasuke's house, Aunt Mikoto saw him and warmly invited him to have dinner at home. This was a new experience for Naruto. Since the video, it has rarely been the case that someone would kick you out when buying something and even give it away. Naruto entered Sasuke's apartment. Uchiha Shisui had just finished turning on the small stove for Sasuke. "Mom, brother, hasn't he come back yet?" Sasuke was back to being the kid who stuck behind his brother, but it was said that he had fulfilled his promise and gave Itachi a good beating. Itachi looked at his crying brother and didn't fight back. Naruto also heard that Itachi later went to check his body because of excessive use of Mangekyou Sharingan's eye power and long-term use of various drugs. The most important thing was the guilt that the genocide brought to him in his heart and soul. Eventually, Grandma Tsunade concluded that Itachi might not live to be 21 if things continued as they were. Then a certain awkward brother became hysterical again. Itachi finally agreed to receive treatment and will be under observation at Konoha Hospital for the time being. The next day passed like this. He put on a funny nightcap and got into bed. Naruto seemed to have a dream where his father and mother were both there, But his father was not the fourth Hokage, and they had not yet celebrated his mother's birthday together. The 8 unused cards in the dream are all there. The red card, which Shikamaru called an Easter egg, shone faintly. Also the next day, Naruto spent the whole day looking for toads and came back on his own and brought him a postcard. This postcard Naruto looked familiar no matter how he looked at it. Chapter 186 Obito is told the truth. Awakening hunting time. I always feel like I've seen this place before. Uzumaki Naruto stared at the little toad. Where have you gone? I've been looking for it all day. You are really worrying. Quack, quack. This toad is different from the large toads at Mount Maiboku in that it does not seem to be able to speak human language. Naruto soaked the vegetable package in the cup noodles with water and handed it to the little toad. I finished eating the toast and haven't gone to buy it yet. I only have this in milk. You pick one. Afterwards, little toad and Naruto had a fierce eye contest. In the end, the little summoning beast, named Traveling Toad, gave up his stubbornness first, and then, without Uzumaki Naruto paying attention, he stole a bowl of cup noodles and quickly escaped from the window with a few bounces. Early in the morning, this roar could be heard near Naruto's small shabby house. Ah, give me back my cup noodles. Dong, dong, dong. There were several knocks on the door, and a voice came from outside the door. What are you screaming about so early in the morning? Jiraiya's voice joked outside the door. Naruto rushed over and opened the door, pointing at the visitor's nose and shouting, "How's Sennin?" When talking about these teachers who promised to teach him, Naruto felt that each one was more unreliable than the last. The guy from second generation who first promised to teach him the Flying Thunder God technique, except for a verbal promise, was almost invisible. He used the Flying Thunder God technique at every turn, appeared in a swish, and disappeared in a swish. Can he learn it by watching him a few more times? And then there is this arrogant sage who was only given the treading water technique and the summoning technique, but disappeared. Where's the Rasengan that was promised? Where's the fourth Hokage's own ninjutsu that was promised? Sasuke has begun to receive training from Shisui brother, 3 Tomo Sharingan. Little Sakura has also begun to learn to control chakra from Granny Tsunade. Even Hinata, Kiba, Shino, Shikamaru, Chai, and Ino have also begun to follow their respective parents, or the instructor starts training with goals and directions. Thinking of this, Naruto sat in his chair and started sulking. Jiraiya glanced at Naruto's house. It's very small and has quite a few things, but it's just too dirty and messy. Jiraiya smiled for a moment at Naruto's strange look. Sure enough, compared to the previous students, Uzumaki Naruto was the one who looked most like him. Of course, if Naruto knew what Jiraiya was thinking, he would definitely refute it. At least he is not arrogant. He would not leave his disciple alone. Oof. In fact, Naruto really blamed Jiraiya wrongly. Yesterday, after Jiraiya found Nagato, the mother and son chatted for a while, leaving the rest of the time to them. In the previous images, we have roughly known the cause of Yahiko's death. It is obviously not the fault of the masked man alone. There are also a lot of causes and effects of Danzo and Hans of the Salamander. After getting as much information about the masked man from Nagato, Jiraiya asked Chūnin and Nagato what they were going to do next. At this time, both of them were a little confused. After a moment of silence, they actually said at the same time, "I listened to Chūnin one. I'll listen to Nagato." Then the two looked at each other and smiled. Since the two had the same idea, Chūnin finally said it. Through the images, we already know that the current Akatsuki is no longer Yahiko's wish. So Nagato and I will quit Akatsuki and then look for a new direction. Nagato nodded. Mr. Jiraiya, we in the future image made a lot of mistakes, and before that we also did a lot of things that deviated from Yahiko's original intention. He lowered his head and hesitated for a long time, but he still said, "But I didn't turn against you like that future, or even kill you as my mentor. It's really great. I'm sorry, Jiraiya-sensei." Jiraiya reached out and put his hands on Chūnin and Nagato's heads. "Whenever, anywhere, anytime, you and Yahiko are all my disciples." Nagato and Chūnin lowered their voices a little. "Yes, teacher Jiraiya." The voice sounded a little choked, which made Jiraiya and the one next to him feel a little uncomfortable. In this ninja world, no one is easier than anyone else. Okay, Jiraiya put his hands on their shoulders instead. It's time for me to go back to Konoha. There's a kid waiting for me over there. Nagato. It belongs to Brother Minato. Jiraiya nodded. Yes, that is the child to whom you will entrust all your hopes and Yahiko's faith in the future. Uzumaki Naruto. What an incredible child. Nagato recalled the content in the image, and then recalled the pair of clear eyes. In reality, peace will come. If it were him, Chūnin said, yes, the flower of hope is on him. It turns out that Nagato and Naruto are both the children of the prophecy mentioned by teacher Jiraiya. Speaking of this, I was summoned to Mount Maiboku this time, and the great Toad Sage gave me a new prophecy. Jiraiya shares the two prophecies he received at Mount Maiboku with Nagato and Chūnin. Like Jiraiya, the two of them were also confused, but they said they would help Mr. Jiraiya's search for information in this area when they went back. Handing a summoning toad to Nagato, Jiraiya said, it may not be easy for you to escape from Akatsuki, and the masked man will not let you go. If you have anything, you can use this summoning toad to find me, and stop doing stupid things by yourself. Nagato took the toad and said, yes, teacher Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned around, turned his back to them, and waved. In the direction of departure, the sun has not come out yet, and only a little light rises from the horizon. Jiraiya, facing the backlight, headed towards the breaking dawn. That light reminded Nagato and Chūnin of many years ago, on such a dawning morning, when Yahiko named their organization Akatsuki. Looking at Jiraiya's back, Chūnin murmured to himself, Naruto will become the new light of Akatsuki, become the sun, and illuminate peace. Yeah, Nagato nodded. After Jiraiya's figure disappeared from sight, Chūnin, Nagato, and Fuso headed towards the land of rain. Soon after, they will meet Akatsuki Nanto, who suddenly lost his teammate and looked confused, Kisame Tadaki. Over there, Naruto got his wish. Jiraiya finally decided to agree to teach him Rasengan. He washed up as quickly as possible and followed Jiraiya to the training ground to learn how to rub balls. Oh no, let's start with rubbing water balls. At the same time, in the Hokage building, after half a day and one night of negotiations, several announcements were finally reached. First, the information part. 1. The Sage of Six Paths really does exist. The origin of her mother is still unknown, but it is true that she once wanted to use force to suppress the world. 2. Black Zetsu is not the will of Uchiha Madara, but the will of Tsutsuki Kagaya, the mother of Sage of Six Paths. He has been planning for thousands of years to bring Tsutsuki Kagaya back to this world. 3. If Black Zetsu is dead, then the horrific questions and answers that will appear many times will become the biggest uncertainty today. Although for now, the horror quiz has brought them far more advantages than disadvantages. No one can guarantee whether there will be a situation like last time, where more than 30 villagers died in an instant. Next is the agreement part. 1. Strengthen the restraint of non-aggression among the 5 major countries within 10 years, and strictly prohibit purposeless pressure on small neighboring countries. 2. Considering the uncertainty of the horror Q&A and Black Zetsu, once there is relevant news or something fishy, other ninja villages must be notified immediately. 3. In order to further understand the future strength of the ninja armies of various countries. The third Chunin exam. The 5 major countries will lead the surrounding small countries for common reference. It is Konoha-gakure, Sunagakure, Kirigakure, Iwagakure, Cloud Shinobi Village, and Takigakure Village, Rain Shinobi Village, Kusagakure Village, Oto-gakure Village, Yugakure Village, Snow Hidden Village, Hashigakure Village, Takugakure Village, Smoke Gakuin Village. So you can also take a look or visit the Hidden Village, Ghost Country, and Iron Country. Because the first 2 exams have been completed, the candidates who will enter the 3rd exam after arriving in Konoha will first take a comprehensive test and pass it before they are eligible to enter the 3rd exam with the previous candidates. The above. All of this is to prepare for knowing the enemies behind you and unknown enemies in advance after watching the video. Improving the combat power of the younger ninja troops of each ninja village will always be the most indispensable consciousness of each ninja village. In fact, Senju Tobarama has another concern, and that is the death of Kurama, Ninetales. He couldn't think of any power that could kill the collection of chakra, the immortal tailed beast. So in the future, besides Tsutsuki Kagaya, what other enemies will there be? Does it have anything to do with the horror question and answer, Li Hao? These ambiguities made Senju Tobarama suspicious. And Uchiha Obito, the masked man, as early as when he heard that Black Zetsu was the will of Tsutsuki Kagaya, and Project Tsukinomi was a trick planned the year before to resurrect Tsutsuki Kagaya. He was so hysterical that he almost demolished the Hokage building. Fortunately, after the Fourth Ninja War, the second Hokage even still has the Flying Thunder God mark left by the fourth Hokage on his body. As the developer of the Flying Thunder God technique, second Hokage unexpectedly appeared behind him, and then threw him into an empty and uninhabited area, making him go crazy enough and come back with a clear head. Although it has caused dissatisfaction from other villages, it can only be like this for now. In addition, in the Water Kingdom, Senju Tobarama also promised to persuade the masked man to release his control of Mizukage as soon as possible. Everything is ready, and the Kages of the major ninja villages are also very busy, and they are about to leave. Konoha Shinobi came to inform the image of the front of Konoha Shinobi School has appeared again. Is it over yet? What's it this time? Chapter 187 Public Execution, The Valley of the End. Let the world know the Genin of Konoha. Naruto followed Jiraiya all the way from Konoha's training ground to the front of the ninja school. People who had been waiting to watch the movie saw Naruto and immediately said, "Naruto, those 8 cards around you have appeared again." Sasuke saw that Naruto was wet and dirty, with obvious fatigue on his face. "Idiot Cranetail, what did you do?" Naruto learned to spin water balloons and spent 2 hours doing it. Except for 2 accidentally scratched, not even one water balloon was successfully burst by chakra. He was so exhausted that he waved his hands and didn't even bother to argue with Sasuke. Previously, he practiced using chakra to stir the water in the water balloon according to the method of the House Rishi until the water balloon exploded. But 2 hours were about to pass, and he didn't even scratch the surface of the trick. He was half exhausted, scratching 2 water balloons and making himself dirty and exhausted. Finally, he thought of yesterday's dream and casually said that if those 8 image cards could come back, let him see how Rasengan was used in another future direction. After watching it a few more times, he might be able to find the trick. Learn. A metallic sound sounded in Naruto's ears, and 8 image cards divided into blue, purple, gold, and red formed a semi-arc and floated around Naruto. Shikamaru glanced at the first of the 8 cards. The purple card should mean now, right? What will happen in the near future?
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.